Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the MNC show. We are live. Let's go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the MNC show, and we're
I hear Nova though.
I can't hear Nova at all.
I'm here, guys.
Oh, okay. There's no audio, bro.
Oh, that's odd. Yeah, it should be. It's working now. I mean, maybe I just keep my mic unmuted, but go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm gonna wait till we hear something. I guess. Well, I'm gonna keep talking just in case, just
There
so
it
that
is. We're
you
live.
can hear it.
Now I hear us. We're good. That must be what the issue was. Crap, go ahead and do that intro one more time.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the MNC show. I want to get this out early. Thank you guys for joining us. Please share it out. All that kind of great stuff. It's been a long time in coming. We wanted to put this show back together because we feel like it's a little something special. Real quick, I want to shout out to Samuel Payne, who is a new member. He just joined. Mr. Miracle says everyone else may be playing back-to-back Game of the Year contenders on PlayStation, but I'll be too busy hacking at grass and ants for the next million hours. I get it. So yeah, that's some funny stuff. But MNC is back. Mooch, you're back. Welcome. How are you doing, man? How's things going?
Things are great, to be honest with you, Crap, and things are even better with MNC Mornings back. It's just something that it was a dream that we wanted to make happen, and it's tough. It's difficult. People don't realize it. Podcasting's not easy. It's not easy, but it's great to be back on the air. We've got a great producer here in Nova, and we're hoping that we can get some skits, and we want to get live calls and voicemails going in the next week. So, guys, I want to say a huge thank you to the audience. I want to say a huge thank you to everybody on Twitter. That's what I said earlier when we had no audio, but I will say it again. It truly means the world to us that you guys are here and you support us and you're a part of the show. You guys don't realize the MNC Mornings show is literally the 13th audience member. I like to call it that way. The football term is the chat. It's the audience. You guys are a part of the show as much as we are. So be vocal in the chat. Please do let us know what you think. And, like I say, ask some questions. We're going to eventually get the voicemails, Crap, but we've got a lot of hot topics, buddy. I am pumped for today.
Yeah, it's going to be a good show. And I wanted to say thank you to Nova, who stepped up and was like really, helped us out, get this show running. It's a difficult show to do. Obviously, there's going to be more things coming. Obviously, some things are going to be adjusted a little bit. This is our first show back in a long time. And to believe it or not, it comes off of Nova was busy last week and on vacation, kind of. Mooch was busy in a way, so we couldn't do everything we needed to do for this. But, top 10 is going to be coming back. All the kind of good stuff is coming back. Samuel Payne, thank you very much. You're the man. I appreciate that you love the videos. Listen, my channel has gone through a metamorphosis over the last month. And not to harp on my stuff, but, Mooch, you kind of know, I wasn't really putting a huge effort. I was hurt. There's some things going on in my life. I didn't really have access to being able to capture footage or to really improve anything, any aspect, right? Like some people know what happened, but I was severely injured and I couldn't do anything. So, this last month, I took a lot of people's advice on the channel and, captured new footage every single day. I've literally got thousands of games that I can capture footage from. People like seeing different kind of strange footage, maybe something they didn't know about, and hey, that looks cool or whatever, and I do I instead of just doing a 3-4 minute video, I do a little bit longer video so that I can more express myself because, the internet's a little bit better now and stuff like that. But people have really responded in a big way. And, I'm very grateful for that and thank everybody for doing that as well. It does mean a lot to me as well. So, and Mooch, Samuel Payne, thank you. Welcome, friend. Holomoko says, did you guys just start? Happy to see MNC. Yeah, we just started. Look, it's not an MNC show without some problems at the beginning, right? I mean, that's how
right.
you know.
Part of the show.
That's how you know it's an MNC show, right? Like Disney didn't open without some problems and some issues or whatever. So
not all the rides were working day one. I can guarantee it.
Exactly.
Right?
And I gotta say I completely understand that. And we're gonna take this. A lot of people maybe expect us to be super negative all the time about Xbox. Not really the case. We're just kind of gonna relay some of the news and just give some opinions. Some of it good, some of it bad. But at the end of the day, we're just trying to give our own opinions. And I always say this, right? I'm not trying to sway anybody. Like, spend your money how you want to spend your money. But I will say, from my point of view, ignoring something that you have a problem with, that you're a consumer with, will never get it fixed, will never help anybody. Just kind of glossing over the issue will never help. I understand that a lot of people think, hey, you're super negative. My point of view is, I don't see a lot of people talking about the stuff that I'm talking about. And so it is a little bit difficult to sort of see. Hey, Browning Sterner, thank you, man. I'm glad you like the videos. Man, I love doing this stuff. People can feel the passion. Mooch is the same way, man. Subscribe to this man. He's passionate. He's great on the mic. He should have more than 10,000 subscribers. The guy is great. So yeah, go ahead and check out his stuff as well. Like the video, all that kind of stuff. Mooch, I want to get into some of the topics early, because, we're into this particular part of the year where this is the latest we've gone without having, a price or release date. We're like 3.5, 4 months away from these things, and we don't have a release date yet. So that is a little bit strange, but we seem to get new news or leaks or rumors. And I always tell people this, a lot of the stuff we're talking about today, I linked in the description. That's something that I learned as well. Like, I link every single thing. If it's a news story, in the description. So some of the stuff we're talking about, I linked it on the description. If it's a opinion, that's our opinion and doesn't need a link. If it's a rumor or leak that we can link, I'll do that. If it's something that somebody told us in confidence, obviously you can't divulge that. But I do want to say that, with that being said, this came out yesterday. It looks like possibility that Halo Infinite could have a battle royale multiplayer leak. Now,
absolutely.
Yeah, so this is a possible leak, and I have this in front of me. Halo Infinite multiplayer rumored leak points to a Battle Royale mode being present in the final game. The game's multiplayer was recently confirmed to be free-to-play, attempting approach similar to Call of Duty Warzone. In addition, 343 Industries responded to criticism regarding Halo Infinite's graphics, which were displayed at Microsoft's Xbox Game Showcase, where campaign gameplay was revealed. As the next console generation looms, a lot of weight rests on 343 Industries' shoulders with the release of a spiritual reboot to the Xbox Pilot franchise. Yeah. So obviously this, and to those that don't know, I did actually link this. This is an established on the Japanese version of the Xbox Halo Infinite page. This is the official Xbox Halo Infinite page in Japan.
Yes.
So the translation is that it is that they're going to have Battle Royale as the listing, which I found to be fascinating. Okay, so it lists it as Battle Royale as the type of multiplayer, which is very interesting to me, because everybody that maybe has followed this knows that they kind of confirmed that the only BR they're interested in is the battle rifle, right?
Right.
So for me to see this, and it's like, oh well, we've got BR mode. I thought that was extremely interesting. And I'm going to let you talk for a second too. But for people that don't believe me or just think this is like officially off of the Japanese website, not only that, but I also want to cover that Colin Moriarty, who is, he used to do Kind of Funny Games, and he is very well known in the industry. I think he has the biggest PlayStation podcast around, right? Yes, I listen to his stuff all the time, really, somewhat controversial sometimes, but really he's in the know. So basically, he was talking yesterday on Twitter. He says he was responding to someone about the Battle Royale rumor, and he goes, Microsoft was ready to show Battle Royale at E3 2018. That's why there were all those TVs on stage at their conference. They bailed out when they saw the response to Battlefield 5 at EA's conference, which you'll remember EA showed off that bad-looking Battle Royale.
Yes.
And it seemed like everybody was kind of piling on this whole Battle Royale stuff. And then somebody like doesn't believe Colin, right? And Colin's response was, whether you choose to believe it or not is up to you. I can only relay the information. I don't blame anyone for being skeptical of any anonymous information, but much like with Demon Souls remake Ratchet PS5 in recent memory, I relay the word when I trust the source, which, by the way, he was the one that was talking about these games months and months before they were revealed. And he also says they may have opted out of the idea, but in 2018, it was planned to be shown at E3. It's like Halo Master Chief Collection on PS4. That was discussed at Microsoft in 2014, as I reported long ago, but it never made it out of hypothetical in meeting. Plans change, so we'll see what happens. So basically, he's saying they were going to show it. Remember, we questioned why all those stuff were on stage too. Remember,
well, didn't it seem odd? They had that entire show. They had about 50 to 100 different PC monitors up there and set up, and it wasn't used. And that's not a prop crap.
Yeah.
So I think Colin's spot on, first of all, but just kind of taking it back a second and just looking at what we're looking at. If Microsoft does intend to make Halo Battle Royale a free-to-play game, in essence, you have to look at it this way. You have to have another mode. I'm sorry, but capture the flag and just regular multiplayer, that's not what's getting people to jump into these things. Like, take Call of Duty, for example. So Call of Duty does very well on their multiplayer that they sell for $60. But they drop Warzone, and I'm telling you right now, they have probably made 10 times the money they've made on their $60 release than they did with this multiplayer release of Warzone for free. Okay, with the skins and the battle pass and all that good stuff. So my point being is, if Halo's going to be free to play, and it is, right? That's not a rumor anymore. That's a fact. If it's free to play, two things I have to mention, and then we can kind of dive into it. You got to have a different mode than the traditional Halo multiplayers offered in the past. They have to have their version of a battle royale. It makes perfect sense for Microsoft. The other thing that people are saying is, because it says free to play, everyone's assuming that Xbox Live Gold is gone. And that may be the case. That's yet to be seen. Okay, there were certain folks like Jeff Grubb. Shout out to Jeff Grubb, who was on Crossfire 2 weeks ago. He says it's gone. Guess what? I can ride with that. That's good for us, the consumer. But what I really think Microsoft's going to do to test the waters is they're going to make their free-to-play wall crumble. They're going to drop that. So if you want to play Fortnite, you want to play Apex, you want to play Halo Battle Royale, okay? You can play for free. You don't need Xbox Live Gold. I just find it staggering that Nintendo and Sony just got into this, this paying for online this generation, and it's absolutely made money for all three companies. I can't see Microsoft wanting to remove that right now. There's no need at this point when you have $3 billion plus coming in on Xbox Live Gold. Drop the free-to-play wall and let everybody play the free-to-play games without gold. That's a great gesture. That's consumer-friendly.
I agree. Let me pay some bills real quick. Sin Vendetta says, wow, it really has been since October of 2018 since we've had an MNC show. Crazy. I mean, it's been a while. I think we did some in 2019, didn't we?
Yeah, 2019.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so.
Shout out to Sully!
Yeah.
And also, Crap, do a quick shout out. I know you want to do the super chats, but I do want to do a quick shout out to Nova. Nova, who's here, who made a lot of this happen. Nova, welcome to the show, buddy. We do want to let everybody know about you. You guys are going to know more and more about Nova as the weeks go on. It's just that Nova right now is making sure that the show is working. It's our first couple of weeks back. We need to make sure the show is working. So Nova's doing a hell of a job behind the curtain, and he will be coming out and being a permanent part. But Nova, how are you this morning?
What's going on, everybody? Happy to be on the show today with Mooch and Crap. Let's get to it.
Heck yeah.
Appreciate it. Crap, by all means, please take care of the super chat.
A man of very few words, but he's actually done a great job of putting everything together. We're going to continue to add to it each week as well. Game Knob says, keep up the great work, Mook and Crap, the two best in the business. Thank you very much. Josh Hill with the $10. Thank you very much. True Witty says, welcome. He joined the channel. Mooch, I'm getting members, man. It's not just you anymore. I love it, man. Like, I miss the live shows, right? I guess it's like a musician, right? Like, I'm doing videos and I'm kind of expanding there and doing better there, but I miss the interaction with the fans.
It's been a while, Crap, because the first 5 minutes was a solo cast. I don't know about you guys, but I actually left. I went and got a cup of coffee down the road, came back, and I was like, I didn't miss anything yet.
I was stuck doing those solo casts. I couldn't get anything else to work.
Yeah.
Sir X-Man says, give it to Luca. Actually, he says Halo has never had an ABC territory mode like Call of Duty. Mr. Miracle says, remember that quote, if we lose our way with Halo, then we lose our way with Xbox. Well, we are living that. The soul from the 360 era is long gone. So I want to point out this. Everybody, please hit the like button. Over 530 people watching. Tremendous. This is our first show. That is. Let's get a bunch of likes in there. Share it out. All that kind of great stuff. When it comes to this Halo BR stuff, you just have to look at what Phil Spencer says. Okay, Phil Spencer. He basically. I mean, yeah, he kind of flip flops a lot. Who doesn't? But he basically said before the July 23rd show that he hates competing with himself in terms of releasing a video game and then releasing an update 3 years later, and he doesn't like to do that. So that kind of led everybody to speculate that Halo Infinite would be games as a service, which it is. It's called a platform, and they're going to probably continue to update the multiplayer. But I agree 100%, Mooch. You made a great point that the regular arena stuff is not going to draw players into a free-to-play model. That stuff is very hardcore. Now, a Battle Royale mode, and listen, before people think that I'm just going to hate, I actually think Halo makes the most sense for a Battle Royale. It does. I'm worried that I want to see how they pull it off if it's true. But think about it, Mooch. There's always been vehicles and all this kind of stuff in Halo. It makes a ton of sense to do that. Now, it doesn't have to be 100 players. They could probably do it with 50 or whatever. But, I just feel like it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Now, the part that would worry me, and this is just devil's advocate to what I'm saying there, because it could be awesome. And listen, getting millions of people back on Halo, that's great. I think that could work out well for them. I would just say this. When you have a free-to-play model, and when you have Phil Spencer talk about specifically how Fortnite is on phones, the Switch, the PlayStation, Xbox, and how he loves how everybody gets to play together and, this kind of thing, it does make you think that they could possibly put this on put this on the Switch, on PlayStation, maybe. That's a rumor. It's speculation. I'm not saying for sure that would happen, but I'm not saying the full Halo Infinite would be, but possibly Halo BR as a game mode, as a free-to-play game mode. But even outside of that, BR is, I don't know, I'm talking my butt off, but VR is actually, or BR, excuse me, is actually the big thing now. They're trying to, and you would have to have battle passes. That's a rumor. Skins, maybe emotes and dances. Microsoft, what's the payoff for Microsoft aside from getting a large number of players? You obviously are going to have the microtransactions. So it's going to be not all great, but it's also, but it's also something that people have to keep in mind.
Think about it this way. Think about it this way, though. The Battle Royale of Halo, right, could actually change Battle Royale for a lot of us. Whether you're talking about PUBG, and I understand Apex had a nice little sci-fi twist to it, but it still kind of has that same, you know what I mean? You have the same kind of ARs, and you have all these other weapons that are very familiar to us. Halo has different weapons. It has different worlds. It has different features, textures, different things in the environment to kind of hide behind or adventure through. There's just different avenues that they can take with 343. So I think a Battle Royale, myself personally, I would welcome that with open arms from Halo. I really, really would, especially free to play, to have all of that out there. I would welcome it. But I do have to take a step back here. And again, guys, it's just a slight concern. I think that 343, I said this a long time ago. I said this a very long time ago. And people really were kind of like, well, whatever, Mooch, it doesn't really matter. You guys have no idea the amount of pressure that's on 343. And I think that we all saw, now it's easy to say, right? Now it's Monday Morning Quarterback because we saw the games showcase. We saw what they had to show. And you can see that even with the great games that are coming down the line, 2022, 2023, 2024, like Avowed, certain other games that they had coming, they're great games, okay? But 343 and Halo Infinite are really that's the staple that we got to look at moving forward into next generation. And there's a lot of rumors, okay? They are still rumors, even though we're getting a lot of bona fide insiders that say that it's true, is that, they're saying that 343 is internally a mess, okay? That a lot of their work is contracted out. That work that's contracted out is not working hand in hand with what the programmers or developers or the debuggers, if you will, are working on the in-house crowd. And there's a lot of miscommunication. And they're saying higher up executives don't have a finger on the pulse. I've been saying this for a long time. And when I say this, I don't just mean Phil. I mean, there needs to be a change in leadership at Microsoft. Clearly, 343, I think, from the leaks that we've heard, with people having a hard time. And these are the employees speaking. This isn't Mooch speaking. So don't give it to me. Speak to the employees. They're coming out and saying this. They're saying that upper management's not paying attention to their requests. They need to have more in-house flexibility, not so much outsourced. So my point, to come full circle, Crap, is that now we're talking about throwing a free-to-play battle royale. Listen, battle royale, to be successful, there's hundreds of people. I don't know how many people working on Fortnite. There's hundreds. And when I say hundreds, I'm being generous here. I'm being very gracious to say 200, 300, there may be 500 people at Activision making sure that Warzone works smoothly for the millions of people playing. So when you already see that Halo Infinite, the single player, is having, I would say, just not complications that we know of, but they're having a rough time internally. And now you want to take that same group and tell them that now they have to take care of a free-to-play game that's going to be nonstop, millions of players. That's a lot on 343. Not to mention, it's really the only first-party game at launch coming out on the Series X and on Game Pass, for next generation for Xbox. So do you understand everything I just said? Now imagine that being on the shoulders of the employees at 343. It is a tremendous amount of pressure. So I would be very, very surprised if the free-to-play, if there is a battle royale for Halo, I wouldn't expect that to be their day one. I truly would not, okay? And if you go, well, Mooch, how do you come up with that number? How do you figure it's not going to be their day one? If you look at what Blackout did on Call of Duty and then Warzone, they kind of spoon-fed it to us slowly till they got to where they are. So I think what you're going to see in the free-to-play Halo would be the multiplayer that we're all used to. Okay, capture the flag, your regular team deathmatch, et cetera, et cetera. I didn't play a whole lot of Halo multiplayer. I mean, multiplayer has been very generic for a very long time, Crap. So this is what I think. I think you're going to see the free-to-play wall drop. I think you're going to see all the multiplayer modes that we're familiar with. Maybe Warzone, not to get confused with Warzone with Call of Duty, but I believe it was Warzone for Halo 5, right, Crap? I'm not wrong with that, right?
That
big multi.
Yeah, like there was a lot of people. Yeah, that was pretty popular.
I think that could possibly be their day one with the free-to-play wall being broken down. But my point being ultimately is that I don't think you're going to see Battle Royale with all this that's going on and all that pressure. I think the Battle Royale for Halo is coming down the road. Maybe 3 months later, after launch, maybe 6 months later, maybe even a year. I wouldn't say it would be more than a year, but within that first 12 months after Series X is launched, that's when we'll see that Battle Royale. Because think about it, that's the moneymaker, Crap. That's what people are into right now. And I'm sorry, I know a lot of people go, Halo doesn't need it. A lot of people said the same thing about Call of Duty. We had this talk, right, Crap? Remember Blackout? You were like, it doesn't need that. But it does. It really does.
Listen, to attract new players, it needs something, and I would imagine if there is Halo BR, that it plays vastly different than the standard Halo, right? It wouldn't even surprise me if the Halo multiplayer that we know, the regular stuff, the arena and stuff, Slayer, if that stuff is still not free. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not convinced that all that stuff is going to be free. Like, it'll be interesting if it, and I could be 100% wrong. Maybe I am, but it just, I think this stuff is leaking out before Microsoft was ready. I got to pay some bills real quick. Browning Sterner, he says, Crap, I love your videos. I've learned a lot. Listen, I paid attention to what a lot of people are saying in terms of what they want to see. And the one thing is, I'm not some technical expert. I'm not an armchair developer. I'm not an engineer. So if I see something, I kind of read up on it and check it out now as I'm relaying it so that I can relay it the way it is that I understand it. And I try to make it as easy as possible because I'm learning this stuff too. So, I always hate it when you go to watch a video and it's like, people are like, you know what I'm talking about, Mooch, and this isn't a knock at anybody in particular, but I've tried to watch tech videos on PlayStation or Xbox and they're like, well, we used a flux capacitor with this and it gives you 21 gigawatts of power. And I'm like, what did he just say? Like, that's not really inclusive of an audience. You're basically just trying to sound intelligent. You know what I mean? And
I
some
think
people
when you
do
look
that.
at the other thing too, Crap, is when you actually look at it this way, don't get me wrong, I think a lot of those tech specs are all accurate. They're very true.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when somebody like Microsoft or Sony says, here's the technology, here's the hardware, it comes down to the developing team to utilize it properly, right? And that's what I think a lot of people were saying when they saw how 343 was handling Halo and the way it looks. And I said this in my review, okay, shameless plug here, of the game's showcase review on my channel. I said, Crap, I left watching the Halo Infinite gameplay footage, and it made me want to jump back into Destiny. That's how much respect I have for Bungie.
Yeah.
343 can get there, but again, I'm not seeing it yet. That doesn't mean it's not there. I'm saying I'm not seeing it yet. And if you guys are seeing it, then by all means, let me know. Like, that's fine. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying from what I saw, it looked like another continuation of the Halo games we already have at home. If you play the Master Chief Collection, right, and you play Halo 4 on the Master Chief Collection, it's gorgeous, crap. It looks fantastic. And when I looked at Halo Infinite gameplay, did I see a slight bump up in res or something when I watched it again in 4K? Yes, but was it enough to go, wow, this is mind-blowing. I've never seen anything like this out of Halo in my life. That didn't happen. It just didn't happen. So that's what I need. When you go, and I've said this rant all the time, I've said it week in and week out now, when you go home in November with your Xbox Series X or your PlayStation 5, you've got to be able to pull the hardware out, take out that controller, plug the system in, and there's got to be a game. There's got to be one feature, one game, one something in the game that gives you that wow factor, that, wow, we are at next generation, whether it be speeded load times or whether it be a feature within the game that we were never able to do before because we didn't have SSD at these speeds, whatever it may be, or maybe it is the 12 teraflops. Myself personally, we said this about 2 years back. We said these machines are going to be very similar. They're very, and they are. They really, really are. They have one thing each that separate themselves, but there's the 12 teraflop image crap and a 10.3 teraflop image. I don't know to the human eye or the casual, it's going to make that big of a difference. They're still going to be in that 4K realm.
The thing that I stress is, and people are like blown away when you actually deliver this news, it's a 16 to 18% difference, but it's much, much less than the difference between Xbox One X and a PS4 Pro. Like, that's a night and day difference. This isn't. Also, I pay some more bills. Shout out Eddie T. He's an ultra friend of the channel now.
Shout out to Eddie T.
Good guy as well. Let me see. What else do we got here?
Def Jam Bam is in the chat too. Crap, Def Jam's awake. He's
Def
up.
Jam, yeah, we're gonna be doing calls and email or voicemails again. So stay tuned for that. True Witty says Phil admits Game Pass isn't making money at all. Yeah, we're gonna cover that in a little bit as well. That's one of the topics. You may be an Xbox guy. You and Mooch are funny. Glad you're back. Thank you, True Witty. Appreciate it. It's something else in here as well. Nick Palem says, how far we looking for official Sony announcements? Love your vids, man. Can't wait for the hype on launch. We are going to hear something in August. Jeffrey Grubb, once again, who did Moochie's show a couple weeks ago, has said between August 6th and August, I think, 11th, we're going to see some stuff from Microsoft or from Sony, excuse me. But also, Microsoft is going to do something as well. Listen, if we can get 450 likes on today's show, at the end of the show, I'll give away a $10 Xbox Live card and a $10 PSN card in the chat. We'll figure out a way to do that at the end of the show. So get us up to 450 likes. We'll give something away. Yeah, giveaways and stuff are coming back. We got a lot more coming down the pipe. We just wanted to get the first show done so that we can make some improvements. One thing that I can say right now, Mooch, is our logos are kind of blurry. So
we'll work on that.
Yeah, so we'll have to work on that, maybe make them a little bit bigger and less blurry. But, there's always stuff that we can improve. You guys can give us your opinions and stuff like that. Let's get up over 450 likes. Like I said, you guys like free stuff. I think it's going to be a real fun time. But yeah, I feel the same way you do. Same thing with the Halo BR stuff. So again, if you're just joining us, Halo BR mode leaked supposedly through the official Halo Infinite Japanese site, as they classify it as a Battle Royale multiplayer. They've already announced it as free to play. There's speculation that possibly just the BR mode could come to other platforms later. You wouldn't need Game Pass. Yes, Phil Spencer has said they wouldn't put Game Pass on PlayStation or Switch, but they do have Minecraft, and they just allowed Cuphead on PlayStation and Minecraft and Cuphead and Ori on the Switch, and you have to log into a Microsoft account. You actually get achievements for doing so on the Switch. So I'm just saying that you can't really count that out, in my opinion. But there's also, we're going to roll this into the whole Xbox Live thing, right? A lot of people are talking about this. There's different fences here, right? So is Xbox Live Gold going away? Microsoft removed the 12-month. They removed the 6-month from their store. They removed the option for 12-month on everybody's console. You can only get a 1 month for $9.99 or a 3-month for, I think, what is it, $24.99?
Yeah.
So it's either you got to spend, if you wanted to get a year and stack those, you have to either go, pay the $120 a year for the $9.99 and just pay it monthly, or pay $100 and stack, the 3 months at a time. Or people are just saying that there's a possibility that these things are going to
Mhm.
be completely taken away. Like the way I see it, and this is just my opinion, right? You might think something totally different. I feel like they might remove the paywall completely. And the reason why I think they might do that is because that's a console thing. They're leaving the console mostly in the past. I'm not saying that they're abandoning console. I'm saying that's not their main focus. Game Pass is their main focus. And how can you have Game Pass on all these other devices that are allowing multiplayer, but not your console, right? Like, I feel like
It's
the
been
right
like that,
yeah,
though, Crap.
I know,
think
I
it's the right.
understand.
There's a lot of things that are the right thing to do, like getting rid of all the yield signs in traffic. You know what I mean? There's a lot of right things to do in life, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen. I don't necessarily know if Microsoft's ready to part. When you're seeing all these things right now, right? Aaron Greenberg was on a show where he said, listen, at this point in time, Game Pass is not a huge moneymaker for us, which we know that. That makes sense right now, right? So that's not making a ton of money for them. Then you also have their first-party games are in Game Pass, and they're being released on PC. Everything's going to be released day and date into Game Pass. So if you're there for $1 or you're there for $5 or however you got into the service, you're getting that where now you're not giving them $60. How many times can Microsoft take a hit? Think about it this way. Stop thinking of them as just this big company that can afford to take 85 hits. Imagine now you're an investor. Eventually you're like, guys, we've taken 3 really consumer-friendly hits. Why are we taking a 4th hit? You know, this was a big money maker. Our competitors are doing it. They just started doing it. They're not going to back out anytime soon. It's bona fide money. I don't see, and plus all the money people say they're going to make off of like what Fortnite does, free to play, right? And Apex and Warzone on Call of Duty. They're going to make that if they just drop the free to play wall. You could drop the free to play wall, make all that money off of skins, all of that money, and still have Xbox Live Gold. I don't see them getting rid of it. Now, if they do, great. I will say the one thing that's a head scratcher, Crap, that you mentioned, the fact that they got rid of the 6-month and 12-month, that, like for Xbox Live Gold, that makes me think that maybe they will. But then I'm also thinking, wait a minute, is this their way of saying if you want to play online, you Game Pass will now include Xbox Live Gold? So now we're going to have to pay $9.99, $9.99 or $14.99 a month, respectively. That's concerning because then you go from getting Xbox Live Gold for $45, $50 a month when it was on sale, or a year, pardon me, $45 to $50 for the year on sale, versus paying now upwards, if it's $14.99 a month, $180 a year. That's a tremendous jump. I understand you get xCloud. I understand you get Game Pass. But you do have to understand, Game Pass is it's a great value, Crap. Make sure you always say great before it.
Yeah,
it's great.
It is.
Okay?
It is.
It is great. But it's not necessarily what everybody wants.
I agree with that. Let me. True Witty says you can get 12-month live on Amazon. I believe that those are being discontinued though. So So I think that something's afoot. We just don't know what. Sir X-Man says, I repeat, bring Steve Ballmer. He'll get that ship running smooth, unlike Phil, who lets everyone do what they want to do. Xbox needs real leaders. Facts. I think, Phil is making Xbox profitable. I think their thing or whatever, even though they were flat or whatever, supposedly it was pretty good in terms of revenue or whatever. So he'll do that, no doubt. But is he gonna, if you're a hardcore Xbox fan that's been with Xbox since the beginning, like us, are you going to be happy with the direction that they've taken things? I think that's a completely different story. And you're perfectly okay if you are happy with that, and you're perfectly okay if you're not. Like for me, when I look on social media and I see people hyping up Grounded or Flight Simulator or Battletoads, I kind of scratch my head a little bit, right? Because that's not really the Xbox that I know. Right. Like Xbox used to really be a mature machine for mature gamers, and online was crazy, and you had all this trash talking and all this kind of really interesting stuff, and now it's completely the opposite of that, which I find to be very interesting. But as far as I can tell, it's so what they're doing is so reaching out to a casual audience, and that's fine, I guess, because they want to grow their platform a bit.
Absolutely.
But it's some people, I guess, maybe I'll have to let go one day. I don't know, but it's for me personally, that stuff doesn't appeal to me, and I'm not used to that. I buy every Xbox exclusive, okay, so I'm totally not used to going. Well, Minecraft Dungeon. Well, that's not an exclusive, but it's made by them. Or Bleeding Edge. I'm skipping that. I don't care about Flight Simulator. I get it that it's a good looking simulation thing, but I have no desire to just fly around in a flight game for hours. You know what I'm saying? That's not a game to me. That's it's a teaching tool, I guess. I don't even play Minecraft. I've never played it. So these things aren't really appealing to me. Some of the stuff that they showed at the show obviously did Avowed and a Fable, That stuff appealed to me, even Everwild. But that stuff seems like it's 2023. Maybe Forza could be late 2022. But again, that's still a bit of a wait. So while I am excited about what they're showing, they literally haven't really given much of a reason to pick up a Series X. Hey, bud, calm down. I know you're guarding me and everything, but everything's good. I promise. Shut that dog up. Yeah.
Shut that dog up.
Yeah, so I think it's interesting. Danny Ruiz says, "Do you guys think that Phil will throw Game Pass on smart TVs anytime in the near future?" Absolutely.
Well, yeah, he's already got a deal with Samsung. I mean, they're definitely doing business together. Like, and it's funny. A lot of people have been saying this. They're like, "Mooch, do you think that Xbox will just become an app?" And that does seem like that's where they're going. When Phil makes references, like remember when he got up? I think it was the developers conference many years back, about 3 years back. He got up there and he was really praising Steam. Remember, he got up there and he was really praising Steam at the podium. And then 2 years later, all the games are going on Steam as well, right? Yeah. Halo's on Steam, everything's going to Steam. And then when you see, Phil come out and say, we're going to be the Netflix, and Netflix is an app, okay? Yeah. So he's come out and said, we want to be the Netflix of gaming. So to say that, no, that's not what their intentions are, he said it. So there's truth behind what he's saying there. I just myself personally, I think like you said, there's nothing wrong with it. But a lot of people say, well, geez, how come the change in opinion for a lot of folks? And it's because, the Microsoft, as we went from the 360 into Xbox One, that era and that style of gaming, their rationale has changed at Microsoft. It's different now. Look at the games that are top of their list right now: Sea of Thieves, Grounded, and Flight Simulator. Okay, that's a far cry, no pun intended, from Halo multiplayer, Gears multiplayer, Forza, and locking down exclusives in the 360 era, even though they were timed like BioShock or Splinter Cell or other games that they it gave a different feeling, a different essence. And now you turn around and you see things, and crap, I don't mean to kind of go into another topic here, but it kind of blends nicely. But like you see that Sony's keeping their traditional roots. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of the hardcore gamers saying, geez, this is just a little bit more familiar. And if it's not broke, you don't sometimes have to fix it. I don't think Microsoft's doing the wrong thing. I think they're going in a different avenue. Phil's also said this. They consider Sony their competitor. They consider Google, Amazon, and Apple. And you could clearly see the direction that's who they're taking on. Sony's like, okay, you want to leave us to take this entire pie ourselves? We'll take the whole pie ourselves. They're going to get the traditional gaming market and lock it in. You see the Avengers game that's coming out, right, Crap?
Yeah.
There's rumor that Spider-Man may be that character, which I don't know how real this is, but they're saying that the Spider-Man character might be exclusive to the PlayStation
with a grain of salt
of that game, right? And but that's a big get. That's a big get. And that's the things that when you saw like the older Xbox 360 era and prior, locking in exclusives, locking timed content, it did make the user base feel a little bit more privileged is the word I guess I would use. Okay. It doesn't mean that it's better. I'm just saying some people feel like they're more privileged to have more content on that system. And nowadays we all own all consoles, Crap. But at the same time, if you do have a PlayStation 4, and we already heard that I believe the Avengers game is going to be getting that upgrade,
it's
smart delivery, right?
It's a smarter delivery or smartest delivery, whatever.
Like that, smartest delivery of all time. Yes.
Yeah.
At that point, if you know you're going to get that upgrade and you're going to get another character, and Spider-Man's beloved, it's another reason that people feel like maybe I'll jump over to PS5. I'm just going to keep going. Everything seems to lean that way. And sometimes when I see a lot of people like advocating or just talking about how great Grounded is, they're not playing it, or they're playing it for like 20 minutes. They're like, I played it. They take a snapshot on Twitter and then they're done with it. And I get that. We all try it. Don't knock it till you try it. But at the same time, you got to understand that that's not the game that brought you to Xbox. That's not the game that's keeping you with Xbox. So when people are like, look at this, Mooch, Sea of Thieves, Grounded, and Flight Simulator, the top games on Steam. I'm like, so? That's not what got me and you into it.
Yeah.
I didn't get into Xbox 360. I wasn't diehard Xbox because of Flight Simulator. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And Minecraft, think about Minecraft. Think about Grounded. Think about games like where you build Ark, right? Survival. Those games where you start off with nothing and you go out and you recruit materials and then you build, right? Those games have never been my forte. And I don't know how many people, like, in which you launch it onto the internet, you're going to get great success. But like when Grounded launched, it had 280,000 people on Twitch. Yesterday, they had 19,000. That's quite a drop. We're not even a week in. So when these numbers come out, you've got to take everything with a grain of salt. You've got to let time kind of be the true deciding factor and see if it's been a great success and it's been viewed over the years or over the months at least. We can't look at 2 days and go, well, there you go. Microsoft is on top of the world. Yeah. And then on Friday, they're back to where they were. You got to give it some time to kind of see how the audience adapts to it. And I'm not sure if the hardcore Xbox fans are into Flight Simulator, Grounded, and Sea of Thieves. That's the direction Microsoft's going, which, by the way, I want to say if you do like those games, bravo, enjoy them. There is an audience for that, and maybe there's a large sum of money Microsoft can make off of that. That's great.
Yeah.
We need Xbox. Xbox needs to be it needs to be in the discussion, crap.
I agree. Sir X-Man says, give it to Luke. He says, I want Steam to come to Xbox. I don't know. Well, I mean, that's an interesting thing. Before I finish off the Marvel's Avengers leak thing, somebody asked, well, what's the point of that? And I responded on Twitter. I was like, the point is, it really gives people a reason to buy that version on PlayStation. Right? If you're a Spider-Man fan, okay? That's the whole point. Whether or not you like timed content or timed exclusives, both Sony and Microsoft have done it before, and they continue to do it. Microsoft does it on smaller scales, like that Bright Infinite Memory and the Medium and the Scorn and all those like little AA stuff. That stuff's coming to Xbox first. It'll come to PlayStation eventually, but that's just like more in Microsoft's kind of realm. And the reason why Microsoft goes after them is because they don't have the money to go after a big third party. It's that big third parties like Ubisoft, Activision, EA, they're not going to put their stuff day and date. Microsoft mandated everything at the July 23rd show had to be in Game Pass day and date, which, it makes it look like Game Pass has a bigger value, which I get it. It's great. Game Pass is great. Let's not say otherwise. But you also have to think that, don't you want to see some of these big third-party games actually running on a Series X, even if they're not going into Game Pass day and date? Like, that's my point of view, okay? Like, we saw the next Resident Evil running on the PlayStation 5. That's great. I want to see that. I want to see, Assassin's Creed actually running on these next-gen consoles, or Far Cry or Watch Dogs. Instead, they're all running on PC because Microsoft has the marketing rights for them. And I guess, I don't know what the deal is with things not being able to run on the Series X yet, but we've seen zero footage of anything run on the Series X. And 343 said the reason why they couldn't run it on Series X, that demo, was because it wasn't stable enough to. So that is a little bit concerning. I also kind of want to switch up the topics a little bit, because you did switch it a little bit, was, Steam. And was that a topic that I had as well? I think something about Steam games or something. Well, anyway, Microsoft's games are kind of doing well on Steam, and I kind of want to go back to that for a second. That is a topic, actually. Xbox games doing well on Steam. Listen, this is what Microsoft wanted, right? Like, a lot of these games, Grounded, Flight Simulator, Gears Tactics, Sea of Thieves, actually play better towards a PC audience than an Xbox audience, right? And Microsoft is probably, and I made this point the other day too, Microsoft probably loves, and this isn't so much like people are going to think I'm hating again, but I'm not. Microsoft is seeing sales on Steam.
Yes,
that's
they are.
Like, listen, Sea of Thieves sold over 1 million copies on Steam. Yeah. Halo Master Chief Collection sold 5 million copies. That is more copies on Steam than it sold on Xbox. Okay. And you notice how quickly everything is listed, even Halo Infinite listed as a Steam thing. Everything that Microsoft showed is avowed. All that stuff is listed as a Steam release now. Why? Because, again, Game Pass isn't making them money right now, and they're probably loving these sales, right? Yeah. They're loving these sales, right? Like, look, people are like, well, they got 3 or 4 of the top 10 or whatever. I think that's great. They're probably like, man, we're actually seeing some sales of our games, because listen, they've already admitted that, and this is a topic too, that Game Pass isn't making them money right now. So where are they making money? Probably off these Steam sales. It looks like Xbox people aren't really buying the games, and PC people, excuse me, PC people would rather buy the games on Steam than pay a subscription service for Windows. You see what I'm saying? Like with Game Pass, like that's just been proven fact. I guess like half the people that bought Sea of Thieves on Steam had it in Game Pass on Windows Store, but would rather play it on Steam.
Yeah, and and it's funny because it's gonna get a little bit more complicated than even the conversation we get into today, crap. But that's what I've been trying to say to people when people go back and forth with Game Pass. Game Pass is a tremendous value, and I mean that with all my heart. There's no caveat. There's nothing behind it. There is a however. And however is that like there's some folks right now, everything we do, whether it be your vehicle, your heat, your air conditioning, your electric, your mortgage, I don't care, your car payment, it doesn't matter what we're talking about, your Visa, MasterCard, everything respectively is a monthly bill. Not to mention all the things that we currently have right now, like Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus, all these other things. So a lot of people are saying, you know what, let's put it this way, Crap. Let's use your example, Sea of Thieves. People love Sea of Thieves. Okay. Do I want to pay $14.99 and get Ultimate Game Pass and have it on the PC through Microsoft and have it and play it on? Or I can go and pick it up for $29.99 or a sale they may have on Steam, and I have that one game and I'm done. I enjoy the game. I get all the content. I'm good. My point being is that like that's the point at home is like myself personally, okay, because I did the dollar deal last June, not this June, the June before. I have Game Pass right now, Ultimate Game Pass, all the way till about June 2022. Crap's very similar. My point being is this, okay? When it's expired, do I need to jump back in? No, I very rarely look at all the games we have right now. We all have an unbelievable backlog. There's sales going on Xbox and PlayStation as we speak, the summer sales. There's Steam summer sale going on as we speak. All these sales are going on for games that you may have wanted to acquire back in the day. Now they're $10, $15, $20. You're buying these games, you own the games, you have them to play at your will. All of a sudden you look over and you say, what's the true value of Game Pass to me? For me personally, it's Xbox's first party. Well, currently there's nothing coming out of Xbox first party until November, right? And then we don't know how long after that. So my point being is where is that value? All the other 99 games in there? Sure, if they are for you, that's great. But I have so many games right now, and there's like Avengers coming out. There's Cyberpunk coming out, right? There's the new Call of Duty coming out. There's so many games that we are going to go and dive into. New Assassin's Creed coming out. There's so many games. You're telling me that you've got all these games that are 200, 300 plus hours a piece. You're still playing Ghost of Tsushima. I'm trying to say it right. Tsushima. Shout out to Creative Kofi who corrected everybody on Crossfire on how to say it properly. So I'm trying to say it properly. But it's an amazing game. And like that's a game that like people like are playing. And that if you complete it is 50 to 70 to 80 hours, depending if you're going for the platinum. There's just so much to play. So when people are like, but Mooch, it's a tremendous value. I say it is a value. But if you bring me to a buffet after I just ate dinner, I'm full, man. I'm full. I've already eaten. I don't need the other indie games and the 360 back compact games in there and the first party games that are from this generation that I already own. I don't need those games. I've already got them, or I'm already full from the games I'm playing that I haven't beaten in the backlog we currently have for the past generation that we've backlogged, right? How many games do we all have? At least like 50. Yeah. And that's the thing. Well, and then when you reach out,
like 1,000 on Xbox alone, you know what I mean? Something like 450 on PlayStation 4.
Absolutely.
Valentin says, "What's up, Crap? What's up, Mooch? Someone please tell Microsoft that all games will not be best on Series X. Since all those games are also releasing on my $2,500 PC. Enjoy the show, guys. Please do it more often." Yeah, listen, if you're a PC guy and you have the talent and the money, your games are always going to look best on that. That's right. Just facts. And we are doing the show more often. Every week. Next week will be on Mooch's channel. Then it comes back to my channel. Then it goes back to Mooch's channel, but it'll be an every week thing. And we really do appreciate all the support. Please hit the like button. Like I said, if we get to 450 likes, I'll give away a $10 gift card on Xbox, a $10 gift card on PlayStation. We'll figure out a way to do that in the chat. And then you'll have to redeem that. I'll give it to you on Twitter or something like that. That's going to be the best way to do it. Y9 Power says, Microsoft not releasing Blue Dragon, Lost Odyssey, Mechasalt, Ninja Blade, and others only on Xbox game shows. They are not listening. Well, I think they're listening to maybe the wrong people. I don't know. Like they aren't listening to us. It's going to be interesting. I see Jay Barry in the chat. What's up, everybody? Hit that like button. Listen, 850 some watching. Let's get over 400 likes. Yeah, let's go. Let's get those likes rolling.
Absolutely amazing to have everybody here.
Yeah, I mean, it's early. We get it. Everything that's going on. But yeah, I'm glad that the games are doing well on Steam. That's why they're going to continue to put them there because they're selling well. But I also wanted to talk a little bit about let's see, what can we talk about? We can talk a little bit about let's see. Oh, I guess we could talk a little bit about Microsoft Game Pass isn't really making them money. And again, this is something that they actually came out and said. I think it was Aaron Greenberg. So I have the article right here. Microsoft admits Xbox Game Pass isn't really making a lot of money right now. So anyway, This was Aaron Greenberg, by the way. He admitted that in the short term, Xbox Game Pass is indeed not profitable. However, he highlighted the importance of building up a base of customers, which will eventually pay off. He says, we always laugh when we hear that. Please don't worry about us. Microsoft is going to be all right. We're going to make it. I think we'll be okay. With Xbox Game Pass, Microsoft is focusing on over-delivering on value, even if it comes at the cost of profits in the short term. It's a different mindset. If you do optimize for profits, you can either say, how do we get this much profit out of each customer? Or do you pivot and then say, how do we add as much value to our fans? How can we actually over-deliver on value? If you do that, you build fans for life. When people feel like you're over-delivering on value, they want to not only continue to use your service, but they want to tell their friends about it. The most powerful marketing is word-of-mouth marketing. We can create as many advertisements, as many assets as we want. But if both you go tell one of your closest friends you have to get Game Pass, that's way more effective than any marketing I can do for us. We just want to keep adding more and more value to Xbox Game Pass, so you feel really good about that and you feel like you want to go tell your friends about it. And ultimately, we think long-term that's the right thing for the business and will have long-term benefits for us. In the short term, Xbox Game Pass is not a big profit, but we think long-term it works out for everybody. So the main thing that I took from this is a lot of people say, Xbox Game Pass, Sony has to copy that. They have to put their stuff in PlayStation Now, day and date. They have to do exactly what Microsoft is doing, right? And this right here kind of proves the opposite of that, right? Like Microsoft isn't making money. In fact, probably losing money. Probably their main sources of making money is the Steam stuff right now, Minecraft and that kind of stuff, right? In terms of how they make their revenue with the gaming, because Xbox is like, it's not notorious for selling a bunch of games on there, right? It isn't. This entire generation has been that way. It's like you look at like Ubisoft reports or EA's reports, and it's like a huge in favor of these games selling much, much better on PlayStation. So that they're not actually doing a ton. And Sony, go ahead.
I got a question for you. So, and this is just taking a step back and looking at what we're talking about in the topic. If they're not making a lot of money now, I completely get, and I like Aaron's sarcasm, by the way. He's like, we're going to make it. We're going to live. You know what I mean? That's funny to me because like, he's right. Microsoft's going to be just fine. But my point being here is that, they're not profitable now. And again, I want to reiterate that I truly feel the tremendous value out of Game Pass crap is the first party. And if Halo Infinite itself doesn't really lure in a large group right off the bat, or doesn't keep them there longevity-wise as far as Game Pass subscriptions, my question to you is this, and then we don't know how long until we see some of those other big games, like you said, Fable, Avowed. These games are 2022 at the end, 2023, 2024. So when they say they're going to, we're playing the end game, we're playing the long game here. Well, weren't they playing the long game with Mixer? Right? Like you don't just launch Mixer, make these big deals, get everything out there. You get Ninja, you get Shroud, you do all this advertising, you put it on your dashboard, right? Like when you turned your Xbox on, you almost got a right-handed slap to the face with a Mixer sticker on your face, right? So, but my point being is what did they do after 2 years?
That, to be honest with you,
were they in that for the long haul? Because I would have thought they were. You can't go up against Twitch and expect to beat Twitch in a year and a half, 2 years, right? They did only 4 years with Mixer, 4 years. So you got to give that ramp up and get people into the mood to switch over, this and that. They bailed on it. So what I'm saying is that if Game Pass right now, which everyone has been saying for the longest time right now, Game Pass is making a ton of money. Look at 12 million subscribers. Guys, a lot of that are the dollar deals. A lot of them are the dollar deals. And people go, no, Mooch, it's only one time. I get it's only one time. So one time somebody got it, then they didn't resubscribe. Then a bunch of other people did the dollar, and they report it when it's at its peak. That's business. I get it. That's business, and good for them. So they're not making a tremendous amount of money. That's Aaron speaking, not Mooch. That is Aaron speaking, not Mooch. I want to say it again. Okay, so don't get angry with me. I'm saying that's what he's saying. So my concern is if the first party, which I believe is the true value of Game Pass, isn't putting out a AAA banger that really has people clamoring to get their hands on it day and date in Game Pass, how long does Microsoft say we're not making money on Game Pass before they pull the plug on that? Because I was really shocked that they did that with Mixer, because I would have thought Mixer was just a self-sustaining entity on their dashboard that just would keep bringing more customers.
What's interesting is what's interesting is people were like, oh, well, they're not going to get rid of Mixer anytime soon. They just paid millions and hundreds of millions for all these streamers. But then it turns out they paid for all these streamers, but then they had hardly anybody running Mixer, right? They like laid everybody off. So it really didn't make sense. And it's like, I think though that they're playing the long run with this. But again, and I'll also say this, people that assume that PlayStation's dead in the water if Microsoft goes completely free multiplayer, I'll remind everybody, look back to the Xbox 360 era. The PlayStation 3 had completely free online and got its butt kicked almost the entire generation by the Xbox 360, which you had to pay $60. You had to pay $60 a month to even watch Netflix on that thing, right?
Yeah.
And Xbox still basically won, and they ended up in a dead heat. I think PlayStation 3 beat it out by like less than $1 million at the end. But literally, the entire generation, people would rather pay for their online service with Xbox Live than get free on PlayStation 3. So it's not as cut and dry as people think. Also, PlayStation Plus tends to give you much better value in terms of like AAA releases that they give you. And I just feel like Microsoft and PlayStation has more of a console in mind for the future. And that's different approach than Microsoft. Microsoft really has more of a app or, Game Pass type thing in mind. So the console thing isn't as important to them. And all you have to do is look to that November or that July 23rd thing to see that Game Pass is the most important thing to them, not the Series X. They didn't show anything on it. They didn't talk about it at all. So I mean, honestly, as far as like putting stuff day and date, Sony's quarterlies come out on the 4th. So in 2 days. I expect from everything that we've been hearing, the PlayStation to have smashed all kinds of records because of the current situation in the world, right? Like they literally were selling millions and millions. Like it was the best April, May, June in the history of consoles. PlayStations were selling out. They weren't on sale. Like PlayStation Pro, $399 still. PlayStation Slim, $299. So these things aren't on sale, these things. And they also had Final Fantasy VII, which was like, sold well. The Last of Us 2, incredibly old. Ghost of Tsushima, 2.4 million copies in just 3 days. Like they probably are posting record revenue and record sales. I wouldn't be surprised. And you can if the PS4 is close to 120 million now, right? It was like 111 million and they're selling millions each month. It would not surprise me if they announce 120 million. It would not surprise me if they're up to 50 million PlayStation Plus subscribers. They were at like 41.5 million before, so it wouldn't surprise me to see that jump as well. They're probably going to announce total number of games sold. They already broke the record for software sold, like 1.3 billion pieces of software sold on the PlayStation 4. It's like these stats, whether you like PlayStation or not, this is great for console gaming. I don't want console gaming to ever go away. I want console gaming to stick around for a long time. And
Crap! What is it? What is everyone saying right now? Everybody's saying that the PC is growing. That gaming community is growing. Well, think about it for a second. You don't have to have a 2080 Ti or looking to get the latest and greatest 3080 Ti or 3090, whatever they're going to call it in the upcoming fall release. But there's people building PCs, and you know why? They want dedicated hardware that runs their games as good and as great as possible. And that's what you're getting. PlayStation's staying more traditional. Now, Xbox is giving you that with the Series X, but it does look like they're giving us the Series X, and they're still trying to veer off and be that app. They want Game Pass I think they want Game Pass to supersede and do better than anything on the hardware of the console. They want you to just have Game Pass. They're more concerned with that than they are with you buying the console. They've said that a number of times. That being said, Sony's the other way. Sony's saying, listen, you guys are out there buying PCs and buying parts for PCs at rapid numbers, unbelievable numbers, breaking record numbers. Guess what? That means somebody still wants to go to the store. Somebody still wants to buy a pre-made console that is uber powerful, put it underneath their TV, and play video games at the best fidelity that they can for this generation. I think where Sony and Microsoft made big mistakes was last generation, 2013. They both came out underpowered. Of course, Microsoft was slightly underpowered more than the PS4. But again, same thing I said at the beginning of 2013 is the same thing I'm going to say now. Okay, 980 or whatever it was, 900p versus 1080. That was very similar. That was hard to see. Only Digital Foundry, when they zoomed in 18 times into the corner crevice of a shadow, did they see a pixel that we didn't pick up. Okay, and the same thing here. 12 teraflops versus the 10.3. They're both going to be doing 4K, or both games are going to be doing 1440p respectively, depending on what third party wants to put out there. They'll both do 60 frames if it's possible, or they'll give you a mode where it does it at 60 frames and a mode that does it at 30 with a higher resolution. resolution. We know that these things are coming out, crap. So the point of the matter is, how are the developers and how are the companies handling their IP? How are they moving forward? And I'm seeing Sony pay tremendous amount of attention to their dedicated IP from this generation and the one back and moving forward. And with Microsoft, I'm seeing them now trying to branch out. But you sit there and you go, what have you been doing the past 5 years? They stopped making games like 5 years ago, right? And now we see the Xbox Games Showcase, which was, I thought it was a decent show. It wasn't great.
I like some of the stuff they showed. I just like
it's
it
not
seems
coming
like
out crap, but the games are coming out till 2023 most part. For the most part. That's a long. So now you're telling me I've been waiting for 5 years, and now I got to wait another 3. Where Sony's saying, listen, we've got the bangers coming out all the way until the end of the PS4 era. And then we've got some timed exclusives, which look like a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to Deathloop. I'm really looking forward to Godfall. And then I can't wait to play Miles Morales. I can't wait to play Ratchet and Clank. And I'm hoping that we're going to get Last of Us 2 Factions multiplayer. I mean, that's an unbelievably star-studded lineup, crap. I don't care what anybody says. That's a great lineup to take the box home, plug it in, and start playing.
And not only that, but within the first year, they're saying like Gran Turismo is going to be within the launch window. Horizon Forbidden West, that's a huge AAA, right? Yeah. Like that's going to be within the first launch year as well. Probably the holiday.
I would say either maybe holiday 2021. It could even bleed into February 2022. Crap, they like to do a February release here and there as well.
Yeah, exactly. Nick Palem says, thoughts on Sony patent with DLSS 2.0 tech using AI machine learning to boost frame per second and overall image quality. This would be icing on the cake. So I did a video on this. They actually, a lot of people were saying that the PlayStation 5 didn't have machine learning and things like that. Basically what this does, Mooch, is that demo we saw, the Unreal 5 engine demo?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. That was using this type of technology, which makes that 1440p image quality look better than native 4K. Okay, so it takes a lot of the strain off the GPU, the CPU, and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like what that means is basically anything. Like you're gonna again, Digital Foundry even said this generation, it's not going to be about pixel counting because the fidelity of the quality of graphics is so insanely good. So I know a lot of Xbox fans, and I know, in the chat, they want, listen, I get it. We were huge Xbox fans, Mooch. We hated that whole comparison to resolution because we couldn't really see a difference, right? I mean, a few games you could see a difference. Like, if it got down to 720p, it was a little bit easier to see a difference. But there weren't that many 720p games. I think like 20 or 22 or something like that. So it wasn't that big of an issue. We hated it. So I understand why Xbox fans really want there to be this resolution difference. But it ain't happening. You know what I mean? It's just it's not happening. Like you're going to see a lot of games. Listen, and this is the sweet spot for me. Using what he's talking about, DLSS 2.0 and AI machine learning and all this kind of stuff. Imagine this, Mooch. 1440p that looks native 4K, 60 frames per second ray tracing. That's the sweet spot for me. Right? That's perfectly fine. That's going to look amazing. And I think that's really, really fantastic. Hold on. Panthorium says Games Pass does not support Crossfire X for Series X on single player. Separate purchase required, shown on fingerprint during a fine print during Xbox Showcase. That's a little bit strange that the Crossfire X single player isn't really supporting that. I hadn't really heard that before. Have you heard anything about, again, I'm not real big on Crossfire X, so I don't really know, but what are your thoughts on that, Mooch?
Yeah, I mean, that fine print thing, I heard whispers of that. I didn't notice that, but I did see some people talking about it after the show. Listen, they, like you said, there's probably a deal in place where you have to be day and date of some sort on Game Pass. So, of course, the multiplayer, of course, will be, it sounds like, what is he saying? If I'm reading that the
multiplayer is free to play.
Right, that'll be free to play. But the Crossfire X is saying that the single player will not be on Game Pass.
Yeah, he's saying that it's not going to be on Game Pass. It is
I bet it's thing. It's probably not on Game Pass day one, but it probably will be eventually. They've got a deal going on there. Crossfire X has been listed with Xbox Series X for quite some time. They've been doing a campaign cooperative deal there for a while.
Yeah, that's Remedy.
But like you said, crap, in order for it has to have some kind of form, fit, or function into Game Pass for it to have been on the show. So they have to have some sort of deal in place. I do find that surprising. But I do remember this much, too. Guys, tell me if I'm wrong, too, in the chat, please. But I do believe that the Crossfire X single-player campaign was I don't want to use the word afterthought, but it's been done after the fact. It was just going to be multiplayer originally. I believe that the single player campaign is something. And by the way, the single player campaign looks great. It looks great. So tip my cat off to Remedy. You know, I'm a big Remedy fan. I like Remedy. I liked Quantum Break. I liked all the games. I've loved Max Payne. Go all the way back to Max Payne. You know, just a great group. Sam Lake is a talented. He's not just a talented game developer, but he's a talented author. So he's just an amazing guy overall. I think that may be the reason that you're not seeing a single player thrown in there, because it was something that kind of came after maybe the deal was in place. So I'm not sure I'm making that up, but it at least holds water.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that it does hold water. You know, listen, I want to kind of switch to this bit of news, which is it looks like the PlayStation 5 Pro might be hinted at in this new patent, and this is something that some people are talking about. I called this, okay? PlayStation does not like having the lesser powerful console. It just doesn't. They took a different approach than Microsoft. They're going to release 2 versions of the PlayStation 5 at launch, one without a disc drive, one with the disc drive, but they're also going to be doing PlayStation VR 2. There's numerous patents. They say they're going to, but that's not going to come out right away. Imagine like, say, hey, you got to buy a $500 VR and a $500 PlayStation at the same time. Like, that's not smart to do that right now at the launch of new generation. But I do feel like, from what I've heard and from what this, and I linked this in the description, a PS5 Pro like system hinted at a new Sony patent for multi-GPU approach for console. Like, if they do launch a PSVR 2, I think it'll probably be in a few years, possibly with this. So this is what the patent says. It's kind of jargon, but as understood herein, SOC technology can apply to video simulation consoles such as game consoles, and in particular, a single SOC may be provided for a, quote, light version of the console, while plural SOCs may be used, SOCs, by the way, may be used to provide a high-end version of the console with greater processing and storage capability than the light version. The high-end system can also contain more memory, such as random access memory or RAM, and other features may also be used for that version, including using the same game chip with more performance. So, like, I guess overclocking or whatever. So this is indicating that they could have a light version of a console and a Pro version, and a PlayStation 5 Pro in a few years makes a lot of sense from Sony's point of view, because, again, right now, this is the first time since the Xbox 360 PS3 era where these new consoles launching are better than the average PC. Okay? So you want to stay on top of that. Again, Sony's been very smart with their PC releases. Release Horizon Zero Dawn in August of this year, right before, a year later, they're going to release Part 2 on PlayStation 5. And PlayStation 5 is very powerful, probably more powerful than most people's PCs. So, that really can be an intriguing prospect.
Let me ask you this, though, Crap. Okay, so first of all, I do think there's going to be a PS5 Pro. I really do.
I do too, yeah.
Right, the parts will be even cheaper mid-generation. They'll be able to bump up the specs. It'll be quite a spectacle to see. But I do want to bring this up. What's your take? Do you think that Xbox will have a Pro version or their enhanced version of a Series X? Or do you think that they'll say, listen, we made one powerful box, we're going to ride this one out?
I think the Series X is the powerful console.
I do too.
And I think that the Lockhart or whatever, I think that the Lockhart is the weaker one. I think they're launching both theirs at the same time. And I think that it's just going to be one of those things where they're taking a different approach. Not saying one's wrong or one's right, but in 3 years' time, Sony's going to be able to put out something more powerful than the Series X for cheaper. You know what I mean? Cheaper than what these things are launching for now. They'll probably still be $499 then. That's my prediction for both the PS5 standard and the Series X. So I think they'll be able to put out something that's like 15 T-flops for $499. I think that that's probably the route that they're going to go, and that's probably going to work best with PlayStation VR 2 or whatever. I just feel like that's the very smart thing to do if I'm Sony, and I could definitely see that actually happening, and I think that would make a lot of sense. Everybody in the chat, almost 900 watching, hit the like button. We get to 450 likes. I will give out a $10 Xbox Live card and a $10 PSN card to 2 different people in the chat. We'll figure out a way to do that, maybe numbers or whatever. Holomoko says, hit after hit after hit after hit. I remember that well. You know, I appreciate you guys. Let's get those legs rolling, man. It's going to be it's good. Listen, I love the speculation. I love the next generation. I love, you know, all this kind of stuff. The games, they're obviously the most important part. But about the PS5 Pro, like, don't you think that's just a smart move on, like, for Sony to have that planned out?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Why wouldn't they? They said that the PS4 Pro didn't really cost them a whole lot of out of pocket, right? It also didn't sell people are kind of okay with the consoles that they have. A lot of people crap out. You'd be surprised. I mean, I have a PS4 Pro, but I got to be honest with you. But a lot of people I know that I talk to, they're using the PS4 Slim. They bought that Slim when it was wicked cheap.
Yeah.
And they're saying to me, Mooch, I'm sure you're having a great visual experience with your PS4 Pro, but they're telling me that Ghost of Tsushima looks absolutely amazing on their slim base model.
Well, you remember we used to podcast with Chris Steele. He plays on the base model, and he's always tweeting out screenshots and stuff like that. For me personally, I just feel like Sony's developers know that hardware like back and front. You know what I mean? So they're getting the most out of it. I've long said. And it's one of my biggest knocks of Xbox this generation, especially since the Xbox One X, which is I love that console. I just wish they would have supported it better with first party stuff. You know, stuff like God of War and Spider-Man and Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us 2 look better on a base PS4 Slim at 1.8 T-flops than pretty much any exclusive Microsoft put out on the Xbox One X. I mean, Gears 5 looks fantastic for sure, but Death Stranding, all that, like that stuff looks better. You know what I mean? Like, and that's a bit of a problem. And even I was reading it, like Eurogamer and Digital Foundry were saying, which they're basically the same thing, said, you know, the main thing about next generation is this: Xbox has the more powerful console, but they're not going to be able to prove it with their exclusives because they're still supporting the old gen. We saw that with Halo Infinite, right? It did not look very good. Turns out, like people were saying, it was a build from January or February. Turns out it was a build from like 3 weeks prior. You know, like
that was alarming to see that.
Yeah, so I'm sure it'll be when you have to put your game on everything. Those are type of the things that actually happen. It's a bit of a hit. You know, I really do think so. Useman B says needed exclusives matter rant from Crapgamer Reviews. Love those. Hey, exclusives do matter. They completely matter. Sir X-Man says developers. We got to get that in there too. Eddie T says Microsoft kills off services that don't make money. Wouldn't be surprised if Game Pass goes the same way in the next 12 to 24 months. I think they give it a long chain. You know what I mean? Like a leash. You know, I'm not sure that
Game Pass will get the longest run crap.
Yeah, I think that's their whole idea. But I think if Game Pass fails, Xbox fails. I don't think that they, you know what I mean? I just feel like they would probably.
Tied together. At this point, that's the what did it say? You're only as strong as your weakest link. That is the link right there. That link is what's going to bond Xbox remaining with Microsoft, is if they can tie that Game Pass and make sure that their services, their Azure, everything that they are basically built around to push gaming forward in that direction. And, you know, crap, let me just take a quick second while we have an absolutely amazing audience. We had almost 900 here. We're well over 800 still. I want to say this much, guys. We are going to be accepting voicemails starting this week. So every one of you guys, you will be heard. We want you guys to be a part of the show. You're not just going to be in the chat. We'll have voicemails, and then probably a week or two after that, we'll have live voice call-ins. We want to just kind of get everything, get the, you know, all the works out so everything works perfectly. But we want to make sure that you guys know that you are a huge part of the show. Please do hit that like button. And remember, we want you guys to call in. And one thing that we talked about a lot, and we'll get into another subject in a second, is when you do call in your voicemails, please try to keep them at 1 minute maximum, because we get a lot of voicemails and we want to get to your question. We want to get to your point, and we want to answer your question. So please do keep your voicemails at 1 minute. You'll see us tweeting it out all week long, and we'll start running the number to call in and leave the voicemail starting on next week's show. It'll be in the ticker on the bottom there. So, yep.
Now, I want to switch it to Xbox. Looks like Phil's pretty much confirmed that August they're going to have an event where they're probably going to reveal Lockhart. We've seen a white controller leak. I'm assuming that's for the Lockhart or Series S, it'll be called. Supposedly, we're going to get pricing and some games that might be shown off. The initiative game. So this is what I had heard. I don't know if it's true yet. I guess we'll know in August, sometime this month. I heard that the Initiative game was going to originally be, I guess it's Perfect Dark, was going to be at the July 23rd event, but then they pulled it to coincide with the reveal of Lockhart, so they had something exclusive, I guess, to kind of showcase there as well. But, that's when we're going to get some of this information, possibly even the announcement that about the free-to-play stuff and things like that. Because remember, we kept hearing that there was going to be mic drop moments at the event, and that didn't really happen. And then last minute before that show went on air, someone goes, well, I heard Microsoft switch things around, and a lot of those moments aren't there anymore. So I don't know how big of a mic drop moment free multiplayer is, but, announcing the Lockhart, showing off some more games. What are your thoughts on that? Obviously, that's going to be sometime this month. First of all, I want to say I miss E3. I never thought I would miss E3.
I never thought I'd miss E3, but I miss it so much. I really do. This cat and mouse game is getting old, crap.
It is, like the back and forth with all this stuff. It just, honestly, I cannot. I don't like it. It's just one of those things where I'm surprised by how much I missed E3. I think that it's been, E3 has just been something that I would rather both these companies went up there, took the stage a day after each other, said, here's our boxes, here's our games, here's our price, here's our release date, and did it that way. You know what I mean? Panthorium says, we have yet talked about external solid-state drives. The NVMe Gen 4 cards we insert for PS5 are state-of-the-art. Next-gen PC specs speed 7 gigabytes per second, plus and 1 to 4 terabyte storage. Yeah, those are, like, I guess, like PC still has to catch up to them or whatever, apparently. So I'm excited to try them out. I hope they're not too expensive to get the expansions or whatever, because you only get like 800 and some gigs on the PlayStation 5 . That's an odd number to me.
It is an odd number. Yeah. It is. I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, here's the deal. Whether you're talking about a full terabyte or you're talking about that 850 number, which is just very odd. I will say this much. It doesn't matter. These games are going to be quite demanding. So you're going to need to have an external of some sort, whether it be another one of the SSD cartridges that you have to buy or whatever that chipset is that's going to slide into the back or the front of the PS4 or Xbox respectively. Crap, you're going to need one of those. Yeah. So what they're actually giving you in the box isn't enough regardless. Doesn't matter which company we're talking about. Both are giving you not enough storage. If you're going to, and it's funny because here we are, we say, oh, that's all right. I'll just erase the game I'm not playing and I'll put the new game on. You say that, but then when you're 2 years into the generation and you've got 100 games, it gets annoying.
Mooch, can I chime in 1 second? I just want to say
go
that
ahead, Nova.
The external hard drives are going to be M.2 for anyone interested. So if you're looking for an external hard drive, it's going to be an M.2 hard drive. Go ahead.
There you go. Tech Nova. I like that. I like this. It's just added value.
He chimed in. Nick Palem says PS5 awesome, for the win. Appreciate it. Hey, everybody hit that like button. We're closing in. Hold on. Samantha Dillinger says, why does Ratchet and Clank look much more impressive than Halo? Well, I can tell you this. They're using ray tracing. They had ray tracing showcased on it. It's PlayStation 5 only. They're taking advantage of their hardware. No matter what you watch or who you watch, it's a fact that supporting a launch Xbox One from 2013 can hurt the scope of a game. And it's got to run on a phone, and it's got to run on a 2013 hardware, which, by the way, not only is it 2013 hardware, but what was inside the Xbox One was already outdated. It was from 2010. So even though people will try to compare it to PC, the way I understand it is there's nobody that's running today's games on a PC built in 2010. You can't do it. There's no PC that can run with a Jaguar Core CPU. They can't do it. Digital Foundry tried to do it, couldn't get anything to run. So Sony's taking full advantage of their next generation hardware. Microsoft took a different approach. Some say one is anti-consumer, some say the other. It really just depends on your preference. I prefer games that are going to take full advantage of the hardware right out of the box, right out of the gate. I don't have to wait 2-3 years for that to happen. Okay. And I got to say, Sony's games look impressive, and that Halo game did not look impressive, and it wasn't even running on Series X, but something, I guess, more powerful than the Series X, and it looked like that. So I don't know, I think that that's a bit of a shame, but I still think that at the end of the day, that the Xbox will still have some great looking games, and it's more powerful technically, but I feel like why are so many more big third-party developers talking about PlayStation 5?
Yeah.
And the only ones talking about Xbox Series X are like these little indie devs like that Fish game or whatever it is, that Dolphin game. You know what I mean? Like 120 frames only on Xbox Series X, but he can get it 60 on the Switch. You can't get it 120 on the PS5.
Think about what we said though with this generation, and it's going to happen next generation. You guys all know this in the chat. Everybody in the audience knows, it's listening later as well. This is the worst generation to lose. And the reason I say that is it's not as simple as just your games go with you, which by far and away is the strongest advocate of my point. But I'm talking about even your accessories, your PSVR, your friends, all of you, everyone that bought all of these games and have all this history that whatever you're doing on Destiny or you played on Call of Duty, that's going to move over to PlayStation. Again, they already kind of have a leg up there. Not only that, but then you take into effect of what you just said, Crap, the developing team. When the developing team sees that Xbox has a more powerful console, and I'm talking about third party here. First party can really go and take the show away on either console, on either platform. But when you're sitting there talking about third party developers, Crap, think about it for a second. You're not going to make one copy or one game that much more superior. We only saw that happen with Red Dead Redemption 2 for the most part. Did it happen with specs? Yes. The Xbox One X did have certain games that beat the PlayStation 4 Pro in specs, but they weren't extravagant enough to actually get people to switch sides. Red Dead Redemption 2 was one of the first ones to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what I'm trying to get my point across,
it was made at 4K. I mean, it looked great.
It looked amazing. So my point being is, as we move into next generation, and everybody, the natural progression is, I'm a PlayStation 4 primarily player. I'm going to just keep going and move forward, buy a PS5, and then I'm going to take it from there. So already, was it Peter Moore, or who was the great executive that said the first to 10 million is generally the... Was it Peter Moore? Peter Moore comes out and says something like that. Let me tell you something. Made a lot of sense. It made a lot of sense because once that 10 million mark is out there, that lets people know that are on the fence. Should I go with Xbox Series X? Or I heard they're a little bit more powerful. Oh, all my friends still went back with PS5. Okay, I'll stick with PlayStation. Right? So that's the thing. So when Xbox says it doesn't matter who gets the console, you do want to get that mind share out first and foremost, because these hardcore gaming streets that we all talk about, they're not talking. Nobody's excited for November to get Game Pass. Game Pass is out right now. Like, you don't have to be excited for Game Pass in November. You can buy Game Pass right this minute. It's available this very second, folks. Go out and get it. Go ahead. My point being is that what is leading you to get a Series X, Crap? And I don't know if the game showcase sold us on that.
Yeah, so far, for me personally, I'm begging them to show me some reason to get it. Hey, maybe somebody in the chat that's going to get a Series X, can you give me a reason to buy a Series X? In November. Like, I would love to know it, because I want to get one, but it's just like Halo Infinite at 120 frames for the multiplayer. I'm not big on the multiplayer to begin with. I have a 1X, so I can still play the campaign to Halo. Listen, I locked in the Game Pass through 2022 for $1. So I've got Game Pass, and I think the reason why they did that, and I believe when I did that, the max that you could get at that time was through 2022, because I feel like they did that very calculating so that people can stay locked in for this drought. And I brought this up multiple times. We're in the middle of a 14-month AAA exclusive drought from Xbox. Gears 5 launched in September of 2019. Halo Infinite will launch in November of 2020. That's 14 months. After Halo Infinite, when's the next AAA, and what's the next AAA from Microsoft? Like, it's going to be, and the reason why I bring this up, because if you look at what they said, like Avowed and Everwild and Forza Motorsport and some of the games they showed off, I think that Hellblade 2, all these things say Xbox Series X and PC, right? That means that that's going to be after the 2-year buffer zone. So from November of 2020, when the Xbox Series X launches, till November 2022. Probably later than that, actually, for these games to come out. But for those 2 years, there's not a single Xbox AAA scheduled to come out, or else they would have shown it. So you literally have to, and there's going to be smaller stuff. Scorned, the timed exclusives and the medium, and great if you like that kind of stuff. Battletoads, and
let me ask you a question though. You made a good point there, and I think that the audience is kind of scratching their head, wondering the same thing. I think a lot of customers are. Part of this game's showcase, and maybe we're going to see more in August. So, that's the thing. That's why it goes back to I really miss E3. I'm so tired of this cat and mouse back and forth, because you say something, then it's like, well, Mooch, they showed you in August. Well, we're just getting to August now. So I don't know what they held back, both companies. But what did Microsoft show you besides Halo Infinite that you would be playing? Let's be realistic. In the first 6 months of buy. So you go and buy your Series X. You take the Series X home. You have Halo Infinite and... Like littering and
you see why they played up backwards compatibility so much. It's like, well, you can go back and play Gears at 120 frames in 4K, Right? Like, okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want to play Ori for the third time. That doesn't intrigue me at all.
Or 120 frames, like that doesn't really interest me. So I would love to know, because even the third-party stuff, like Assassin's Creed 30 frames, the medium 30 frames on the Series X, and the PS5 as well. You know, that stuff is held back by last gen hardware.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's a big problem.
Well, how long until the medium comes out, Crap?
I think that's a launch game.
I thought that was coming out in 2021. I didn't see any. No, because if it was a launch game, they would have plastered that all over the front of that exclusive rights. It'd have been coming day one.
It says December 2020.
Okay, that's good though. That's still launch era. So that's within the realm. That's good. At least it's something. Listen, I got news for you. What's good for Sony is good for Microsoft and vice versa. I'm not going to say it's good for one and not the other. Xbox locking down the medium and Scorn. If those games are coming out, that's the same idea of what Sony's doing with Godfall, Deathloop, and a few others. That's what I want to see. When you take the box home, it's not just about the first party. It plays a major role for sure. But that third-party exclusive rights for 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, respectively, that's a huge deal for the consumer. You want to go home and have enough content to play. You just plunk down $500. That doesn't even include the games. So that's the thing, Crap. I think at the end of the day, if they can get, and that's, I'm hoping, you know, and believe me, I'm sure Microsoft's hoping that things like the medium don't get delayed or pushed back. You know, these are smaller teams working on these games. So the idea of a delay isn't without reach. And that goes for all the games on all systems. So what I was kind of hoping was, what is it that I'm excited to go home and play? Like, I'm not a huge Halo guy. Like, you know that, Crap. I'm not I respect Halo.
I like the campaigns. I'm not really into like the multiplayer.
Right, the multiplayer.
Hardcore.
Yeah, it doesn't really do it for me. You know what I mean? I listen. I can't. I played 4.5 hours of Warzone yesterday, and then I played 4 hours of Bloodborne. You could see where my tastes kind of lay, right? So that's where I like my multiplayer. If I'm going to play, is that Warzone. I've always loved Call of Duty, but you know, Halo's not my jam in that respect. But that's a me problem. The point of the matter right now is what did they sell you on besides Halo Infinite and the medium? If it doesn't get delayed, I hope it does not get delayed. I'm looking forward to the medium. So that's the thing. I don't know if they did a good enough job. I'm hoping in August, both companies kind of say, oh, and not only one more thing, but one more thing you're going to be playing in November. And that's what I want to hear. That's the sales pitch. You know what I mean, Crap? So I think
agree.
Xbox has to do more than Sony in that camp, because Sony has a lot of games already announced for first day. Whether it be third party or first, they've already got a few. You've got Ratchet and Clank is in holidays. They're either saying holiday or early 2021, I heard, for Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
Right. Godfall is a holiday release. Deathloop, I heard, is a holiday release. And then you've got, of course, Spider-Man Miles Morales. And I got a feeling you're going to get I don't know.
Remastered. Yeah, that leaked.
Well, Spider-Man Remastered. Yes. Yeah,
it was in
the Last of Us 2 factions crap.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And not only that, but I think they're going to reveal stuff. So we talked a little bit about what Microsoft is going to do, and they might have some mic drop moments in August. But Sony's big event is going to be between the 6th and the 11th per Jeffrey Grubb. But hold on, U of M student says Series X this fall. If you were just now getting into Xbox, it makes sense. Otherwise, I'm sticking with the One X for at least the next couple years. And nobody could really blame you for that. Marty Bison says they're back. Who talking about Warzone? Good to see you fellas back. Thank you guys very much. It is great. It is great to be back. Look, almost 950 people watching. Wow. Hit the like button. Share it out. We've crossed the 450 mark, but let's get over 500. Let's see what we can do with that. But yeah, so Sony, they're rumored to have their big showcase between the 6th and the 11th. Their state of play, all kinds of stuff. They're going to have third-party stuff, supposedly even the Silent Hill thing. They're bringing back something as well. There's rumors that it's SOCOM. There's all kinds of things like that. Like, I like the fact that maybe they held something back, but again, I sort of miss E3 where they just laid everything on the line. It's like I feel like Sony, you know, they should be walking. You know how Vince McMahon, you've seen him walk, like that walk that they do on the GIF, right? Where he walks out like cocky.
Absolutely.
If you're Sony, like, you don't really have anything to worry about. I think Microsoft is trying to do something different. So show what you got. We already saw, like, the PlayStation 5 is the most gifted #1 thing, gift requested item on Amazon already, like both models. You know, they shot up to #1. I think they're still #1. You know, people obviously want it. Look, PlayStation, I try to tell people this. PlayStation is a worldwide brand. Xbox isn't. Xbox will do fine, like here in the States and in the UK, but they have no existence in like most parts of of Europe and in like Asia and stuff like that. So realistically, Sony already has that huge advantage. It doesn't like Game Pass and stuff doesn't really matter. Look, remember Game Pass launched in Japan, and they sold like 4 consoles there that month. Okay, like it really doesn't matter. You got to have the content, and I feel like they're still a couple of years away. Listen. I always say that. What did I say? The Division was a hell of a week, right? That week that the Division 1 launched.
It really was.
All right. I think 2023 is going to be a hell of a year for Xbox. I honestly think they'll have a great lineup in 2023. Okay, they'll have a formidable lineup, but I also think that's the year that Sony's going to.
But where's the mind share at that point?
Exactly. They're going to be 60, 70 million behind by that point. So, again, the fact that they picked the worst generation to lose is going to be trouble. I also think by the time 2023 rolls around, the next God of War, possibly a new Uncharted. They have a San Diego studio working on that. Maybe Naughty Dog's new IP gets revealed. Like they have 2 teams. They're working on multiple projects. So
the fact that the rumor that Naughty Dog has a new IP out. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm beyond ecstatic. Because what's funny, when I was streaming yesterday, somebody said, "Mooch, what was your game of the generation?" And it's funny because I'm never short on words, Crap. I'm never short on words, but I got to be honest with you, it kind of got me to take a second, take a breather. I had to think about it. And I asked people, I said, does The Last of Us Remastered count, or are we counting that as a PS3 game? And I think respectively, we have to put that in the PS3 category because it was remastered this generation. But, I'll tell you something. And listen, you guys know that it's just been my game forever. I can't wait for Factions to come out. I've even mentioned it 3 times today. But The Last of Us 2 was just so good. I'm almost done with my second playthrough, and it's even better the second time through. You get so much more of the story, and you really can relate to the other characters in the game where you originally maybe had some anger or angst towards certain characters that Neil Druckmann and his team put in there. You've got to play through it. You've got to experience both sides of the coin. So when it comes down to it, to see that Naughty Dog might actually have another new IP, Crap, I mean, just imagine the story, the characters, and just how invested we'll get into that world. It's beyond exciting for me. And that's the one thing when I scratch my head and I go, okay, so Microsoft did some really great acquiring of studios recently, right? But you look at who they grabbed, and I'm like, who's got me that intrigued for a story and a world to get like engulfed into? And I guess the closest one would be Obsidian. I would say Obsidian. Yeah. But the one thing that I love about Obsidian is also the one thing that kind of it irks me a bit about Obsidian is that Obsidian is literally, if you look at the games that they've made, it's like, okay, they made Outer Worlds, right? What is that? Fallout.
Didn't even load it because.
I played like 10 minutes of it.
If people like it, but I knew it was going to be Fallout, and I don't like Fallout. So
if you like it, you like it. But hear me out, Crap. Right? You have Outer Worlds, which is a Fallout knockoff, right? Mm-hmm. Then you see, like they say, people are. I'm just saying what this is what the internet's saying, not just me. But then you also have people saying that basically, Grounded is like a Fallout 76 knockoff, right? And then you're hearing people say Avowed is going to be like Skyrim. Well, my tip, if I could just say one thing to Obsidian is, hey guys, put down Bethesda's playbook. You know what I mean? Like make up something that's not, even if it's better, that's fine. They're making it better. Great. I can't wait for Avowed. Avowed is by far my most anticipated Xbox game coming out next generation. And all I saw was a 1.5 minute promo. And I'm still there day one. I'm telling you right there, I'm day one with that. But what I'm saying to Obsidian is guys, make something so you're not taking when you left Bethesda and you're doing what you're doing now. Like, create something that's just you, something Bethesda hasn't even thought of. Something that hasn't even been appreciated by gamers yet, because you have the talent. Crap, they have the talent. That's an amazing studio. Obsidian is by far and away their best pickup until we see what Playground Games can do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know Playground's done a great job as far as, Forza, but I want to see what they can do outside of the racetrack theme.
Yeah, I'm excited for Fable. I'm not going to lie, but I still think that's 2023. We didn't see anything. So, hey, I did purchase both those gift cards, so we will be doing a giveaway once the show is over. I got a few more bills to pay as well. Cool Hand Cruz, he didn't say anything, just gave $4.99. Sir X-Man, he said, going to wait because they took my HDMI in away. That is weird that they did that, don't you think? Oh, the Ash and Luca says a lot of people watching. Welcome back, boys. I appreciate it. It is great to be back. Vile Blood says, look at resistancefollowman.com. It links to PlayStation 5. I did. Somebody mentioned this the other day, right? They're like, look at resistancefollowman.com and it links you to PlayStation 5. And then I put in stuff like Ratchet and Clank or whatever .com, and it takes you to Insomniac's thing. So it is a little bit odd, and there is talk that possibly a multiplayer game is coming back for Sony. So there's a lot of different things that could actually come out that could actually happen with that. Like, I would love to see Resistance come back or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very one-sided.
Isn't there a rumor about Resistance?
There's rumors about Resistance. There's rumors about Sunset Overdrive getting a remaster. Like, that would be an easy game to remaster and just put on the PlayStation 5. 60 frames, 4K. HDR, like that stuff we never got that update on the Xbox, remember?
Yeah,
it never happened. So I would absolutely love that. I think that would be fantastic. And it'd probably be pretty cheap to do that. Remember, like, honestly, like you can have some company just upgrade it or whatever. Cool Hand Crew says, shout out MNC, welcome back. Also tune into the Insomniacs podcast every Thursday featuring myself and Nova.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Nova. And yeah,
Nova!
appreciate that.
Tune in, guys. We'll be launching this week. Appreciate that, Cool Hand Cruise. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He podcasts too. Apparently, it's pretty good from what I've heard. I'll have to actually go watch it. You got to link it so that we can check it out.
We're doing a relaunch this Thursday. Last time we tried, we ran into some technical difficulties with doing all these.
I'm going to tell you, it's funny. I've had this great revelation with every show we've done. Crap. Nova, you know who Nova sounds like on air? Which, by the way, this is a huge compliment because I'm a big fan. He sounds like the Rad Brad.
A little bit, yeah.
There's a little Rad Brad there. This is the Rad Nova.
It is, man. A Chevy Nova.
I like it.
I like it
man.
too.
Like that's cool, man. And listen,
I love it.
Doing these shows is no joke, man. It's like, trust me, I tried to learn this stuff. Whoo! I feel nothing makes me feel stupider than watching a video on how to do this and not being able to do it. Like, I was trying to get Mooch into the show to do a show with me after the July event, and all I could hear was a loop of what we were just talking about play over and over and over and over. Like, I couldn't get it to stop. I couldn't figure it out. It was just, really bad, and it just wasn't a good time or whatever. But yeah, absolutely. Everybody hit that like button. I think we're in for some great stuff. This is going to be a big week this upcoming week. Speaking of big weeks and what's coming up for the PlayStation, Sony has ramped up production of the PlayStation 5. They were originally going to launch with 5 million units this year. Yeah. They've doubled that to 10 million. And a prediction of 120 to 170 million sold in its lifetime.
Wow.
That came out, and the Xbox Series X predicted to ship 60 million in its lifetime. So, I mean, first of all, when I read this isn't me saying this. This is actually, sites running with this. A report, I think, from Bloomberg or Forbes did the production increase. Like, Sony realizes that there's this huge demand for their product, and they're upping production. They're actually doubling production. And of course, they're giving you lots of reasons to switch. They're doing it differently than Microsoft. If you like Microsoft's way about it, great. If you like Sony's, great. I'm just saying this is what they're saying, not Crapgamer. This is not what I'm saying. I mean, I do think that the PS5 is going to handedly beat the Xbox Series X in sales, but Microsoft doesn't care about that. They don't, it's pretty clear that they don't care about really selling the console much at all. Like, I think they're cool no matter how you play their games, where Sony wants you definitely to switch and get a PlayStation 5 like ASAP. So what is your thoughts about that? 120 to 170 million is the prediction.
Well, I'll tell you what my thoughts are on it, Crap. My thoughts are this. Both of these companies respectively use their metrics, and they go by them. There must be polls. There must be people doing some sort of analytics, and they're seeing numbers come back, Crap, and they're seeing a tremendous demand for the PS5. I don't think anybody's surprised by that at all. But I do want to make a point here. If they're seeing these numbers, there's two ways to attack this. You could have just had 5 million PS5s go out at launch and then this unbelievable back order, right? And I don't think that leaves a good taste with customers these days. They just don't like that. We are in the era of what have you done for me lately? And when somebody wants, like even the Switch that was very hard to get, now you can get your hands on a Switch again now. But it took a few of my friends that I know that were buying it for their families. It took them almost 2 months with the shortage as of recently, maybe even 3 months, Crap.
Yeah.
And it really irked a lot of them. They got really pissed off. They're like, why is it I can't get this thing? I mean, you know what I mean? It's not like it just came out yesterday. So my point being is that I think Sony saw that. They see the writing on the wall. They know the demand is there, and they don't want people to say, oh, you know what? Okay, let's say this is the case. The first week, PlayStation at 3 million, let's say 5 million, and Xbox is at 2.5 million sold, right? Series X, respectively. I'm making these numbers up for a conversation, folks.
Yeah.
So, but my point being is, all of a sudden, Sony sold out. Do you know what happens when people want next generation? They go buy the competitor because they're like, well, I'll go buy that one and I'll play it over there. They don't want to lose the customer. They don't want to lose them. So they're going to make sure when a PlayStation customer walks into a store, they're able to get a PlayStation, if not that day, the very next day when the next shipment comes in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're not going to let their players go to the competition. So they're ramping up to ensure they don't lose one dedicated customer. And that's a smart business move. And trust me, they got numbers to prove this. They're not going on a hunch. They're not going on a hunch or a rumor. They got numbers. They've got their fingers out there in the Twitter world, in social media, Facebook, everything, all over the place. They are looking everywhere for these numbers, and they're getting them back, crap. So what do I think? I think they are looking to absolutely sell like hotcakes this Christmas. And let me tell you something. Because of what's going on in the world, people are still going to be inside this Christmas. You know what I'm saying? So guess what? Game sales continue to go up.
Yeah, I was covering this yesterday. Like, people were just so argumentative on social media. And I don't mind it, keep it civil and I'll debate all day. But it was like, they were like, well, we're in the recession and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, listen, there's plenty of articles, and even Sony themselves have said games industry pretty much oblivious to recessions and things like that. Like, people right now are buying games in record pace, buying consoles at record paces. Like, Microsoft could have been so much, they probably didn't realize what was going to happen, but they discontinued the Xbox One X and the SAD way earlier in the year.
Crap, Crap, look at the chat real quick. Spider-Man says 100% correct. And why I ended up getting an Xbox One day one, the PS4 was sold out. That they don't want that to happen, crap.
Yeah. Exactly. MNC, great to see you team up again. Thank you, Coffee. Appreciate it. You guys are all great and fantastic. I got a couple more topics that I want to cover real quick. There's a new survey in the UK. Now, these things are always kind of spotty or whatever, but this one was interesting because 84% of gamers said they were going to get a PS5 compared to just 15% Xbox Series X. Now, you have to realize that like the UK and Europe heavily favors PlayStation, but I was shocked to see 84% to 15%, like 1% was undecided. But like, what do you think about, like, that's kind of in line, like, with what we see from like IGN. Even when IGN's Xbox centric show runs a poll, PlayStation 5 always wins. Even though they're geared towards the Xbox audience, PlayStation 5 handily wins when like, which one are you getting? Like, and I get it. If you can get both and get trade-ins and get money, like, go for it. I just think 2 consoles with tax costing $1,100, that's a big pill to swallow for most people. So, I think we might see where both aren't adopted super early like we might have seen in the past. Like, what is your thoughts on that?
No, I think you kind of nailed it. We do have to do a bit of a sidestep here, and you mentioned it. You have to put that caveat out there. When you're talking about Europe and the UK, I understand that the UK has at times favored Xbox, but Europe as a whole is definitely PlayStation like nation. That is a PlayStation territory. They know that that's very strong. And you can see that the PS4, that just, what it tells me, crap, when you ask me, what do I think? It shows me just how dominant the PS4 was. That's what that shows me. Forget PS5 and Xbox Series X. Those consoles are not in people's homes right now. The PS4 and the Xbox One are in people's homes right now. When you see that drastic of a scaling, if you will, of 84 to whatever, that kind of that just tells me that PS4 was so dominant. And think about it. Sony could have waited, and they could have made Ghost of Tsushima, which I'm saying wrong. I'm sorry, guys. I know I'm saying it wrong. They could have made Ghost of Tsushima, and they could have made The Last of Us 2 very easily a PS5 launch game. They could have said, guys, hold it back. This summer is going to be a lot of sales. We'll do some, let people catch up on their backlogs. We'll put a little this out or a little that out. No, what they do, they end the season in the actual generation as strong as you possibly can. Crap, that's what that poll tells me. It tells me how confident Sony is going to be now moving forward because this generation ended on a bang, and it's letting consumers know that they feel safe putting down $500 on a PS5 because they know all the games that they enjoyed this generation are going to get sequels or thirds or fourths as they move down the line. And that's that rich Sony, history and games catalog is what gives that warm and fuzzy to consumers these days. That's where I'm seeing that poll kind of deviate so much.
Absolutely. The two more topics we're going to speed through. Who's going to buy WB Games? There's a lot of there's a lot of kind of rumors. They want to kind of sell this off. Xbox was rumored to kind of be interested in it. Take-Two, EA, Activision. What is your thought? Like, again, I think they probably want to sell it to a company that can still license these things out to. And so I don't think if Microsoft got it, I don't think they're going to keep them as exclusive. I think that they're probably the least likely to get it, to be honest with you. I think EA recently spoke up and said they're super interested in doing acquisitions and things like that. So even though people hate EA, if they could still get the license, they could still do like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Batmans, and all that kind of stuff. Like, what is your thoughts on that?
Well, now let me ask you a few questions before I answer that crap. What is the asking price? Do we have that in any kind of print?
I think it's like $4 billion or something.
Okay, $4 billion. So without any IP coming over, or does IP? Because is there any IP on the table?
You don't own any of the IP. WB retains
Mortal Kombat?
The IP. I think that WB retains that too because they did Mortal Kombat movies. So I think all the IP are sticking with WB, but you could license them. There could still be agreements there.
So here's the deal, right? The IP is what holds a lot of that $4 billion. Because if you're just going to take $4 billion and hire a boatload of people, let's be honest, you don't own people. You can't do that. You have to let they can leave. So you can buy all of those developers, and then whatever, maybe after 6 months or 3 months, whatever the grace period is, they can leave. They can leave. So why would you put $4 billion on the table when they can just take off? Now, let's take a look at this. If I'm sitting at the table and I'm Microsoft and I can see that WB is not negotiating their IP, I'll say, okay, you guys want to license them out? Fine. We'll do the deal. I want all the developing teams because they're super talented. And when you do that, when you actually do, what's the word you were using there? Just license them out.
Yeah.
We want 1 year exclusive on Game Pass to licensing out those games. Then you can go multi-plat after that. We want 1 year exclusive to Game Pass. That's part, you know what I mean? So basically, they're still going to make their money, but Microsoft is basically saying, not only do we get the talent, but we get the IP, and we want that IP in Game Pass. That's worth it. You need something. You need something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you don't go buy, like, if you're going to buy a franchise McDonald's, like, you're not going to buy McDonald's and you don't get the recipes, right? Oh, no, just the employees in the plastic booths that they came with it. What? You need the recipes. And the recipes in this case are the IP. So if you're Microsoft and you really want this deal to go down, if they still want to license out those IP, fine. Okay. All right. You're not negotiable. That's fine. Here's where we need to negotiate. I need those IP at least a year where the Xbox and PC gamers can get it first. Let Steam can get it. Steam, I want Games Pass Ultimate to get it and Game Pass on my consoles. Then Sony, Nintendo, and whoever else you want, they can get it after the fact. That's what has to happen. Crap. If we find out on Monday that they got Warner Brothers and they just got the employees and they got no rights to any games, I think that's a huge loss. I think it's a waste of money.
I agree. I agree 100%. I think that you have like $4 billion. I think there's 5 studios. That's insane. Like, I would never do just for studios if you can't get IP or at least license agreements for those IPs. And then how are you going to pay that much money and ever recoup that if you're not putting your games on everything, right? Like that's always kind of my
point.
Yeah, like you would have to keep that multi-plat, and that would do Xbox fans no good. Although they would go, well, it would be day and date in Game Pass or whatever. You know what I mean? Is that really like, I don't know, like that to me isn't like a huge deal. I did see something that I wanted to talk about. Chris says, to be fair, I'm in the UK. 1 in 5 or less of my friends have an Xbox. Everyone else has PlayStation. The numbers are about right. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm thinking as well. Everybody hit that like button. I would appreciate it. Share it out. Subscribe to me. Subscribe to Mooch. We're having a good time. Subscribe to Nova. He's doing great. His first time, our first show back. We're going to continue to improve. We're going to be doing voicemails. We're going to be doing everything. It's going to be a good time. Now, Xbox rebrands Game Pass name and just drop the word Xbox. Yes, there's a logo there. Now, yesterday, I tweeted this in full awareness that PlayStation switched their names from Sony Interactive Entertainment to PlayStation's Worldwide Studios or whatever it is, and there's just a logo there, right? Same thing. But Xbox fans were like, that means they're putting everything on PC day and date. You know, like everybody ran with that. You remember it, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, so that was in May. Now, Microsoft did the same thing. They rebranded from Xbox Game Pass to just Game Pass or Game Pass on PC. and there's like a little Xbox logo. And I just brought it up that, hey, if this were to happen to PlayStation, everybody would be talking about it, knowing full well that they did talk about it. And people were like, oh, no, we wouldn't. You know what I mean? It was basically trying to get them into like a catch-22. So, I mean, what do you think about this? I personally feel like Microsoft is trying to distance themselves a little bit from people assuming Game Pass is like a console thing, right? Like they want it more as you think of Game Pass the way you think of Netflix. I feel like that's what they're trying to do. And not that they're going to drop support of the console, but that they want it to not be thought of as like a console thing specifically.
Well, see, I want to ride with you on that one, Crap, but my only thing is this. Yes, they got rid of the word Xbox. But remember, a symbol goes a long way. Like if I just showed you, if I just had like cue cards in front of me and I just had symbols and you'd be like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, you know what I mean? Like, so the fact that they still have the Xbox emblem in front of Game Pass, it still represents Xbox. If Game Pass was really going to be a standalone app, I would think they would remove the Xbox logo and have Game Pass have its own logo. So I don't know if necessarily they're trying to completely remove the fact of the console. I see where you're coming from, and your conversation and your point, it holds water, but there is another side of it. You know, you say, well, the cup's only half full because, you know, the point of the matter is that I don't know if they're necessarily getting rid of it because I saw the logo there. When I saw everybody say, oh my God, they got rid of the Xbox, I quickly went and looked at the screenshot, and I'm like, well,
they have a logo.
I mean, the logo's there. That's clearly an Xbox logo. So I don't know if they're necessarily getting rid of it or if they just kind of cleaned it up. Because let's be honest, Crap, right? You saw the logo prior. Then you saw Xbox Game Pass. It was redundant Game Pass. We already had Xbox. So really, it said Xbox Game Pass. They just got rid of the wording and just put Game Pass with the logo. The logo speaks volumes. You know, whether you see a PlayStation logo, a Netflix logo, an Amazon logo, you know what's going on. You know exactly what you see those golden arches, right? You're driving, you're on your way. All of a sudden, you see those golden arches 60 miles away. You're like, I want a Big Mac, baby. You already know. You don't even know how far that thing is. You're starving. You want a burger. And, you know, shout out to Spider-Man again. He goes, you know, the Nike symbol. These are the points I'm trying to make. So I don't know if they're necessarily trying to separate themselves in the fashion that you're saying, but I do got to say that your point does hold some water. They may be trying to kind of divert a bit.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, like, if you go back to their July 23rd event, they didn't mention anything specifically about the Xbox Series X. Nothing was played on the Xbox Series X. Everything they showed was Game Pass day and date. So again, it feels like they're kind of going in that direction where Game Pass is the thing that they're advertising. Their games are taking a hit because they got to be on PC, they got to be on Xbox One, they got to be on phones, right? So obviously, visually and from a design standpoint, they're not going to be as good as they could have been. You know what I mean? So that to me is a little bit of an issue. Everybody, hit the like button. So Mooch, I got a $10 gift card for PlayStation. I got a $10 gift card for Xbox.
Awesome.
I think we should do some kind of number stuff in to kind of do that. So what we're gonna do is, Mooch, I'm gonna pick one for the PlayStation, a number between 1 and 100, and then I'm gonna put it in our chat, in our private chat between us three, and then whoever guesses it right gets that $10 gift card. You pick the one for the Xbox One, and then we'll do it that way. So right now, I'm going to do a number. I entered it in the chat, so there's no change in it. You guys see the number, right?
Yep, I see it. I'm putting mine in right now too. So the Xbox and PlayStation numbers are in there before we start the folks writing it in the chat. So everything is down.
So right now, guess the PlayStation code number between 1 and 100. The first one to get it wins between 1 and 100. So we're doing it for a
number you
PlayStation.
Picked there, Crap. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think it would come to mind right away, to be honest with you.
No.
No.
It's a specific number to somebody. To something that I like.
Something.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking here.
I'm looking too.
Coming through. I don't see it yet.
I don't see it yet either. Come on.
I'll tell you, it's a tough number.
It is.
Nobody thinks of this number. I'd never guess this number.
It's my favorite football player of all time.
What the heck kind of number is this, Crap?
A very famous linebacker.
Who the heck likes linebackers?
Man, my favorite linebacker of all time.
What the hell? I still don't see it. And I don't blame the chat. Chat, I'm with you guys. The hell kind of number is this?
I don't see it.
Some of you
Close
guys are
there's people that are close.
some of you guys are really close. We can't say.
Nova, do you see it yet?
I don't see it. I'm still looking.
This might win the award for longest giveaway of all time.
Baltimore Ravens. I'm a Ravens fan. Number
What?
52.
There it is. Game trailers.
Are you kidding?
No, it's him.
Game trailers.
That's the first one I'm seeing with it.
Okay.
Mooch, I saw someone.
You get to give it the game trailers.
Mooch,
That's
I saw
awesome.
someone get
Great.
yours too.
That's so great.
Dang it.
I see game trailers. Do you agree, Crap?
Yeah, trailers was the one that got it.
Okay,
Okay,
game
so
congratulations to game trailer. What did he get? He got a Sony gift card?
Yeah, I get $10 Sony gift card. So yeah, good job on that.
Mooch, I
Now
saw yours.
let's let the chat reset a little bit
guys,
because
everybody reset. Take a second here. We're going to be doing the Xbox.
let it reset. Stop writing numbers because then you'll spam yourself out or whatever. So yeah. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, it was 52 because Ray Lewis, right? Like I didn't
Game
listen.
trailer says he doesn't want it.
He doesn't want it.
He does. Of course, he doesn't want it. He's Xbox.
Okay, well, holy crap. We're going to have to... Oh, my gosh. Help me figure out who got it right then after him. Okay. Let's see.
It's like giving Mooch a veggie burger.
Crap,
I
should
don't want one of
you
those.
choose another number?
I don't want it. Well, hold on. Yes, I'll choose another number now because I want to try and make it fair. Hold on, I'll...
Damn, game
Oh, hey,
trailers.
Nova, is that yours? Is that the number you think?
Yeah, that one's kind of a funny one, but let's do it.
Okay, so again, put your numbers in starting right now for the PlayStation $10 gift card. 1 to 100. 1 to 100.
We got to get a new wheel because the wheel's just a lot easier.
Yeah.
It's a gaming
Okay, we're
reference.
using Nova's number. I see it. Nova's had it there for a while. He did an alternate number, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, he did.
Good move on Nova's part to put in. I was like, why would we need an alternate? That's why. This number's more realistic. This is a number I think people are going to hit.
You think so?
I
Ooh,
do.
We got some close, super close.
So
Whoa, there. You see it? I don't see it yet.
I don't see it yet either.
I saw one that
Oh my
was one
God.
off. Ooh, close again.
There
Come
it
on,
is.
guys.
Got it.
You got it?
Who was it?
U of M student.
Okay,
University of Maryland.
U of M student. Add me on Twitter. Okay, and if you're on Twitter, what's your Twitter name, buddy? It was 76 guys.
For that
It was
them Fallout fans.
Yeah, it was 76. Yeah.
U
So
of M winner takes that one home. And
yeah.
then we'll do the Xbox one, guys. Let it stop spamming out, and then you guys have an opportunity to try for the Xbox card. We'll do here. $10 gift card to Xbox crap, or is it?
Yeah.
All right.
U of M student. Hold on.
Game trailers probably can't wait to get into this next round, though.
Let's see. Let me see here. Hey, everybody, quit typing. Stop typing.
Yeah, you guys got a lot of numbers in there, guys. The numbers we're gonna hold up for a second, and then we're gonna do the Xbox one, and then we'll do an outro.
Oh, he says he's good. He only has Xbox. Oh my god.
Wow.
Hold on.
Wow.
Great.
If this keeps up the way it's going, Mooch is taking it.
Mooch, hold on.
What?
This is bull. I said 52 the first time. Hollow Point. Did you say it? I mean, I looked. If you want it, Hollow Point. Okay, 52. Is that your Twitter? Hollow Point. What's your Twitter, guy? Since nobody seems to want it.
I think a lot of people want it. We really talk about being unlucky. We hit two
I know,
guys
right?
that
Like,
didn't want. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I'm with the Us Man B. He says, can we do a trivia giveaway? I'd almost rather do a trivia giveaway.
Okay. We could do what do you think? Give away the Xbox one, Mooch.
All right, I'll do the Xbox one here, guys. Let's put it this way: who is the representative from 343 that works? I believe he works. And crap, if I say this wrong, you'll be able to correct me. There's a gentleman's name that came out and said that Battle Royale will not. I repeat, will not be a part of Halo Infinite. There was a gentleman that came out on Twitter about a year ago and said that it will not be on Halo Infinite. Battle Royale is not a thing they're looking forward to. It will only be the battle rifle is the only BR you'll find on Halo Infinite. Do you guys remember his name? The first person that says his name gets the... Is it the PlayStation or the X? It's the Xbox one.
This is the Xbox one, yeah.
No. Okay, the names are coming in now. I will wait to see who it was. Somebody just put Lee for no reason. I think that's funny. No, there it is. Nick S. Frank O'Connor.
Okay, so Nick S. Add me or Mooch or Nova on Twitter. I'm at _Crapgamer, and I will DM you your code. And I guess
watch Nick S. be like, I only have a PlayStation.
Exactly. Frank O'Connor. So yeah, So it was Nick S. You won the code. And then of course, who was that? Rumple Foreskin.
Rumple what?
No, Rumple won one.
No, he didn't want it.
I'm just gonna do a separate one for that. Let's go with this. Who is the head writer for the game Recore on Xbox One? Who was the writer of the game Recore of Xbox One?
And this is for the PlayStation.
Yeah, this is for the PlayStation code.
Someone put Craig.
Craig.
Who was the person that wrote the story for Recore on the Xbox One? It's a surprising answer. Oh man, come on!
I have no idea, to be honest with you. I have absolutely no idea. Nor do I feel like looking it up.
Come on, Craig. Oh, somebody's close, Brandon. You're so close. Nick S. Oh, okay. So Nick S. was right. Joseph Staten, but Brandon Pagan said Joseph States.
That could have been like Moops and Moors. It's a misspell. Right.
So who gets it? Brandon or Joe or Nick S?
I'd give it to Brandon. I think that's a typo. And Nick S just won. Okay,
so Brandon Pagan, add us on Twitter. Right, my Twitter is in the link below, and I will DM you a PlayStation, $10 code. Okay, and then also Nick S. DM either me or Mooch on Twitter, and you will get your $10 Xbox Live card. And I definitely appreciate everybody coming in here and tuning in. Next week on Mooch's channel, it's been a fantastic show. Absolutely. We're back. There's going to be giveaways. There's going to be skits. There's going to be bits. Please continue to tune in, subscribe, share it out. Subscribe to Mooch Nova. It's going to continue to get better. Give us your feedback. I appreciate everything you guys have done. What do you got to say, Mooch? What are you closing out with?
I want to say thanks, Crap. Thank you so much for the plugs there. I do want to say, guys, it's the Mooch78. On YouTube. Go over there. We are going back and forth. We're going week to week. The great Nova, who did an outstanding job behind the curtain and making sure that the show ran perfect. It ran smooth. And let me tell you something. We are adding voicemails. You guys have no idea how great this is. You guys are going to be a part of the show starting next week. So please do follow us on Twitter. It's at Mooch1978. Follow me there. We are going to be tweeting out, and Crap has already got his information down below, and we'll also add Nova's as well. You'll see where the phone numbers are going to be to call in. We want you guys to be as much a part of the show as we are, and then we're going to have live calls the week after that, hopefully. But we definitely want to get voicemails starting next week. That is a huge part. And then there will be a giveaway for voicemail entry, folks that call in, because we want to reward the people that make the show that much better. You guys are awesome. So thank you to everybody. I couldn't believe it. Crap, 950 or something like that. People
it got up there. Somebody Nine Live says, what happened to Sully? Sully had work.
Sully's working. Shout out to Sully. Sully was fantastic. We missed the great Sully. Yeah, but Sully worked weekends and his schedule. It just didn't work out with his schedule. Yeah. We tried so many times. But shout out to the great Sully. We appreciate Sully. But guys, I can't wait for next week. Crap, thank you so much. Thanks for the plugs. Thanks for the host on the first week's channel. And thanks again to Nova.
Thank you, guys.
Take us out, Nova. Take us out.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in this week for M&C Mornings. We'll see y'all next week. All right.
Rack 'em up.
Rack 'em up.